All right, Shalom Israel. Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters out there in the nation of Israel. And we want to say shout out to our brothers and sisters in Houston, ISBHPK Houston, ISBHPK Virginia, ISBHPK New York. We got brothers in Guatemala, Shalom Kawakab, Amiathia in London. We got brothers in Guatemala, or I say Guatemala,
London,
Albuquerque, New Mexico, California, brothers in Florida. Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers. Shabbat Shalom to all the tribes of Israel coming together, getting this knowledge. As we see more now, it's prevalent more now than ever that there's an attack on any of us getting this knowledge, whether that be from regular individuals in the community or athletes, musicians, actors. Anybody and everybody that's getting this knowledge is getting attacked from some way, shape, or form. So we want to say that and pray that the Most High keep your faith strong, keep you fervent in spirit, keep you charged up in study, keep you relentless in your pursuits for understanding, wisdom, and knowledge. So we want to go ahead and say shalom to all those before we get started. And we're going to just continue with this particular Shabbat. Priest of War is out. He'll be back in action. And so we're going to have to hold it down. So we're going to try to continue where we left off last week from the Northern Kingdom versus the Southern Kingdom, or in particular, Asa versus Baasha. So as those two kings went to war with each other. But before we get started, we're going to go ahead and send up our prayers and praise the Most High for the Shabbat that He gives us for a time of rest and reflection, and allowing us the opportunity to come back in peace and fellowship with one another, and go over these stories, because this is our history, this is our culture. These scriptures are things that we need, that are relevant to our lifestyles, that we need to be passing down to our children. So we've come out of the world and into this knowledge, knowing that Sunday is not the Lord's day. The Shabbat today is the Lord's day. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. So this is the day that we observe the Most High, and we honor the Most High in our sacrifices. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and send up some praise and prayers to the Most High and begin the Shabbat. All right? Tabata? Should be in Dawiyad right now.
That's the priest.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Hahawa'ah.
Hahawa'ah.
Nathanawa. A war. Zayawam. The water. Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the light this day. Thanks, so be it.
Right. Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Nathanawa. Rayach. Nayachacha. The water.
Aman. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the sweet savor. Thank you, so be it.
All right. Amajum Wapanya Yasharala. Yarashalam.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
All right. We're going to go ahead and say our prayer. Bless the Sabbath. Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Nathanawa. Bashabat. Bashalom. The water. Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it.
All right. Psalms 121. Anasha. Ayanyamya. Al. Haharium. Ma'aya. Yabu'a. Isoria. Yabu'a. Ma. Yahweh. Sha'aisha. Shemayim. Wa Rataza. La'a.
La'a.
Yalatan.
Yalatan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Regalia.
Regalia.
Yala'a.
Yala'a.
Nawam.
Nawam.
Shashamariah.
Shashamariah.
Hana.
Hana.
Yala'a.
Yala'a.
Nawam.
Nawam.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yashan.
Yashan.
Shashawamar.
Shashawamar.
Yasha'ala.
Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamaria.
Shamaria.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalia.
Tazalia.
Ayel.
Ayel.
Yanyamya.
Yanyamya.
Yad.
Yad.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
Yala'a.
Yala'a.
Hakaya.
Hakaya.
Bayawam.
Bayawam.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Alabana.
Alabana.
Balayala.
Balayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamaria.
Yashamaria.
Makol.
Makol.
Rai.
Rai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Napashya.
Napashya.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Hawalakia.
Hawalakia.
Wabu'ai.
Wabu'ai.
Wabu'aya.
Wawa'aya.
Ma'aita.
Ma'aita.
Wa'ai.
Wa'ai.
Iwalam.
Iwalam.
Aman.
Aman.
I will lift up mine eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth Israel will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. But the Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul, and the Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Aman. All right, Israelite Credo. Shema Yasha'ala.
Shema Yasha'ala.
Yahweh Al-Hayanahu.
Yahweh Al-Hayanahu.
Yahweh Achad.
Yahweh Achad.
Shema Yasha'ala.
Shema Yasha'ala.
Yahweh Al-Hayanahu.
Yahweh Al-Hayanahu.
Yahweh Achad.
Yahweh Achad.
Shema Yasha'ala.
Shema Yasha'ala.
Yahweh Al-Hayanahu.
Yahweh Al-Hayanahu.
Yahweh Achad.
Achad.
Hear Israel, Yahweh our power. Yahweh is one.
All right. Let's go ahead and do the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Rataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Rathananawa, Lachom, Kol, Yawom, Wasalachnawa, Hawawathnawa, Kasalachnawa, Hawawathinawa, Wala'ah, Tabianawa, let us say a word, a bow, Hawashaynawa, Mayan, Haya, Lanawa, I'm sorry, Kaya, Lanawa, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wata Parath, Lai Walamim, Aman. Matthew 6 and 9 in English.
I got it right here. Matthew 6 and 9. All right. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, on earth as is in heaven. Give us this daily bread, give us our daily bread, and forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen.
All right, 10 Commandments. Number 1. La'a Yahaya. Lakha. Al-Hayyim. Akaryim. Al-Panya.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
Salaki. Do that one more time. Number 1. La'a. Ya'aya. Ya'aya. Lakha. Al-Haryim. Al-Karyim. Al-Panya.
Thou shalt not have no other powers before me.
All right, number 2. La'a. Tha'ayna. Lachol. Pasol. Wala'a. Ta'ay.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them.
Number 3. La'a. Thalakwak. Sham. Yahweh. Bashawa. Bashawa.
Okay, it's lucky.
Number 3.
That's the third one. It's lucky. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain.
Number 4. Zakar. Hayawam. Hashabbat.
Hashabbat.
Lakodashwa.
Lakodashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
All right. Number 5. Chabad.
Chabad.
Abaka.
Abaka.
Ya'amaka.
Ya'amaka.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Number 6. La'a.
La'a.
Tharatazak.
Razak.
Thou shalt not kill, murder.
Number 7. La'a.
La'a.
Thana'at.
Tana'at.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Number 8. La'a.
La'a.
Thagana.
Tagana.
Thou shalt not steal.
Number 9. La'a.
La'a.
Tha'ana.
Ta'ana.
Shakor.
Shakor.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
All right. Number 10. La'a.
La'a.
Thachamad.
Thachamad.
Kol.
Kol.
Asherah.
Asherah.
Lara'aika.
Lara'aika.
Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's.
All right. Barakatah Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Hahawa.
Hawa.
Nathan.
Nathan.
Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Hathawara.
Hatawara.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the law.
All right. Oh, you already lit it?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Hawa. Nathan Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Awar.
Awar.
Lara'a.
Lara.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us light to see.
All right. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Hawa.
Hawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Ha'ayo.
Ha'ayo.
Korah.
Korah.
Lakorah.
Lakorah.
Ha'ayin.
Aye.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the ram's horn to call the people.
All right. Yeshabia,
Shabbat. Take seats.
take seats. All right. All right, so we're going to get started on where we kind of left off at, but we're going to do a quick recap of the wars between Israel. And that's why this topic of this today's class is called the Incessant Tribal Wars of Israel. Because the Most High had guaranteed, due to Solomon's sins, that the house of Israel shall be split. And from that time forth, from Solomon's sins, due to his sin, the Most High kept his word. And we could see a continual procession of kings, both on the southern tribe of Judah and the northern kingdom of Israel, that there was constant feuds and wars between them that never stopped. Regardless of what children came into power and became kings, the wars never stopped. And that's why this particular class is called, or Shabbat class is called, Incessant Tribal Wars of Israel. It's ongoing. It's never ceasing. And we want to touch on this point with a quick recap. Let's go to 1 Kings 14, and let's read verse 29. But let's go ahead and salute the brother in. Kariah, we're going to go ahead and salute you in as the first reader. Ahmad, go ahead and salute Kariah.
Kariah. Shah Shabbatah. Banashah. Banyasha'ala.
Kariah, Shah Shabbatah, Banashar, Banyasha'al, Ahmad, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatah.
Yahweh Ba'ashem. Yahushai Barakatham.
Yahweh Shabi. All right. So Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. The water for watching and for listening. And may the Most High continue to bless your families and your households and your lives and your health and your mentality. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with just a quick recap before we kind of go back into where we left off last week. Let's go ahead and start on 1 Kings chapter 14, verse 29. Let's read that.
1 Kings chapter 14 and verse 29. Now the rest of the acts of Rehoboam and all that he did, Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah?
All right, so we know Rehoboam being the son of Solomon, and we know what happened to Rehoboam. You know, this particular is talking about his death. But read on.
And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days.
It says all the days of Rehoboam and all the days of Jeroboam, there was constant war. There was tribalism and going on between these two nations of people. So all the same nation, but just these 12 different tribes. So the Most High had set this war in place due to the errors and the sins of Solomon. Read on.
And Rehoboam slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And his mother's name was Naamah, an Ammonitess.
Now,
And Abijam.
there's a reverberation. Jeroboam was exiting the picture, but all the momentum of his native is still pervading the nation. His effect is still reverberating within the nation. His example is still reverberating within the nation. So he might have been laid to rest, but his actions, the consequence of the act, was not eradicated.
Now, I like what you said. You're making a very strong point. You're making a very strong point because, and let's go back real quick in the Josephus. Let's go to the Josephus. Who got the Josephus? Ahmad? You got the Josephus? All right. Go ahead. What Dawiyah just said is a very critical point. Can you repeat what you just said a minute ago before we dive into that point that you just made?
It's showing that Jeroboam, he made mistakes, he had issues, he didn't do things the right way, he didn't properly function.
Right.
And so now we're reading that he's laid to rest. Now his physical body is laid to rest, his character is laid to rest, but there is a reverberation or echo or an effect of his decisions. No different than when you deal with a president. The next president inherits the scenario and situation, the political circumstance of the previous president in a monarchy. If the prince fades out, if the king fades out, the next prince that's in line will inherit all the affairs and business of his predecessor. Correct? So now you have all the issues, the fooleries, mistakes, problems, confusions, and disorder that was created by Jeroboam. That now you have a new man in line to rule the nation, but those circumstances are those apps, quote unquote, or those scenarios are still pervading throughout the nation. So he's just dying in the middle of a scenario, but the consequence for the people is still present, as if he's still there. Yes, sir.
Is that like saying the decisions that you made, though you're dead, those decisions that you made while you were alive continue with an effect, reverberation, other people are going to have to deal with that.
We call them generational curses. Why the generational curses? Because grandpa ain't here, but all the issues that grandpa had going on or things that he didn't solve at the moment, those consequences are still rolling throughout the family. So the same thing goes for a nation. Jeroboam's laid to rest, but the consequences of his idolatry, the consequences of his impiety to the father, those examples are still absorbed by the people.
Right.
So that has to be dealt with. It's like us in our life with our parents.
Yeah.
Our parents, their impieties and their mistakes, they're good also. They're also remains, but their bad remains also.
You know why? Because there's certain things that your parents did that you swear to yourself when you're young, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to follow my dad and my mom. I'm not going to make the same mistakes they make. But their mistakes are embedded in your subconscious.
There you go.
Their mistakes are embedded in your mind because it's hard to undo the things that they implanted. Whether they were bad with finances, or they were alcoholics, or they smoke, or they drank, or drug abusers.
Strong warriors.
Yeah, you could say, or they could have been hard workers and just worked only, or they evaded church. They didn't go to church. They just said, you know what, we're just going to keep the house together and work, and then on the weekends, watch football and go to the laundry
Go to the park.
Yeah, and go to the park. Take the kids fishing. And, all those traditions stay embedded whether you like it or not, good and bad. But what the Most High was looking at is how the kings, the leadership of Israel, had passed down these eroding qualities and these eroding principles, these passions that were never repaired, all these mistakes that they were making. All they did was pass them down to the next generation, and we want to show that in the Josephus. Let's go to Josephus, book 8, chapter 10. Great point that you made right there too. Let's read book 8, chapter 10, and we're going to start at paragraph 2.
Book 8, chapter 10, paragraph 2.
Okay.
Page 231.
Water. On there. Book 8, chapter 10, paragraph 2 reads, line 251. Now I cannot but think that the greatness of a kingdom and its change.
He says, I cannot but think that the greatness of a kingdom and what? So regardless of how great the household is or how great the kingdom is, the kingdom at one time when David was setting it up for Solomon, we went through extensively several different chapters of how glorious the temple was, how glorious Solomon's house was, and also the peace that was amongst the people during Solomon's reign when Solomon was in order. When Solomon was in order, everybody benefited from Solomon's righteousness, from Solomon's piety. Everybody was on board. Every household was prospering. There was no low budget menial jobs being distributed amongst the people. That was transferred over to the nations. There was wealth accumulated. There was wars, no wars. There was peace amongst the nation. It was glory, man. We read about how Solomon used to get up in the morning and sprinkle the gold in his hair, him and his men, and ride on those chariots and those horses to another city at full speed. Just a beautiful time, arrayed in linens, and purple, and white, and gold. So we read about the magnificent glory that was alive during the time of Solomon. But he said, I cannot help but to think that what?
I cannot but to think that the greatness of a kingdom and its change into prosperity often become the occasion of mischief.
It said, how do you fall from grace? How do you fall from such a high status? He said, I can't help but think like, wow, what happened? How does things go from being so beautiful and so prosperous to being so depleted?
Because that's very close to, like, in another circumstance, we look at the Mayans. And everybody goes and looks at the Mayan Empire, all the powerful temples and how they had a structure and they had civilizations. And they go look up what happened. Same thing with the Amazonian cultures. They have this LiDAR, and the LiDAR, it flew over the rainforest. Just recently. And they have pictures all throughout the rainforest of these roads and cities all throughout the rainforest, all overgrown with trees. Trees overgrew it, vines have overgrown it. That's like the forest has swallowed these cities. But you're looking at the after effect of the former glory. They had a beautiful society in the Amazon, our people. But guess what? Whatever the Most High did, how we destroyed the society, it is overgrown.
Yeah, no different when you go to Athens. When you read how, Alexander conquered the nations in 12 years.
Wow.
And then the Romans came in and ruled the whole world for as long as they did. You read about how the Romans, they said all roads led to Rome.
Yeah.
So they conquered everybody, but now you go to Rome, you go to Italy, you see a bunch of broken down pillars and colosseums that are barely standing. It just looks like rubble. Ruins.
Yeah.
You're going through ruins of a society that collapsed. But even in Israel, he's taking special notice of how and why does a kingdom erode? How is this possible? How does it fall from such a high position where its status is beautiful, and then to fade away and start to fade? Let's read that right there. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, so we're in the middle of paragraph 2, line 251. For when Rehoboam saw that his kingdom was so much increased, he went out of the right way.
He says, hold on. Let's read that one more time from the top.
From the very top.
Yeah.
God, we're in the book again, book 8, chapter 10, paragraph 2 of the Josephus. Now I cannot but think that the greatness of a kingdom and its change into prosperity often become the occasion of mischief.
It says it often becomes the occasion of mischief and what?
And of transgression to men.
And to what?
Transgression to men.
So he's showing how the kingdom arose. It arose through its mistakes. They don't repent from their errors. They don't repent from their mistakes. Go ahead.
For when Rehoboam saw that his kingdom was so much increased, he went out of the right way.
Oh man, this is how kings fail. So soon as we get to the point where we reach the pinnacle, we reach the pinnacle, and we reach the apex of a civilization. We reach the apex and the height of righteousness and glory. And then what happens when everything is well?
Start to lax.
We start to do what?
Acts. We just wax back.
We're in the
We start to chill and we get neglectful.
Yeah,
Is
bingo.
what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
We get relaxed and neglectful, and we stop because you have to maintain that. It's easier to get it than it is to maintain it. It's harder than anything with a job, anything you're talking about, with getting a car, keeping them payments. So yeah, you got it, but can you keep them payments? Can you keep it from getting repoed?
Right.
Can you help hold on to this kingdom?
Right.
Can you keep it maintained and keep the stature of this kingdom? And they're showing that they got to a certain point and they got neglectful.
This is how every kingdom, every house, every nation starts to fall. They start to erode because of comfort. We reach a certain level of sophistication. We reach a certain level of status. We reach a certain level of fame, a certain level of comfort. And what happens, man?
We relax. We let it go. We stop doing what it takes to maintain it.
Absolutely.
So it starts to fall apart.
And we read the Josephus classes long ago about the Egyptians. How that grew what? They grew effeminate. The Egyptians grew effeminate. And they solely relied on the labor of the Hebrews. Because they were too into their luxuries. They got into their luxuries. There's a scripture about that.
We have arrived.
Now, we go to let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 8. Start at verse 7 real quick and read on down.
Come. Reversal.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 7.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 7. For the Most High, thy power bringeth thee into a good land.
And this is what the Most High does. The Most High gives us an opportunity till we start reaping the benefits of the land. We start receiving the agriculture, the growth, the crops. You know, the fruits, the vegetables. The earth starts yielding its potential.
Things are smooth. You have to have that fear.
That like what am I gonna eat? Because that's a major issue amongst our people. You know what our people say. You know, when my stomach get to growling, I'm gonna get to robbing.
Yeah.
You know, that's what our people say. This is common amongst our people. We go into desperate means when the food is scarce. You know, we go all out just to sustain and survive, and that fear is always ever present. But the Most High says, listen, when I give you the good of the land, go ahead.
A land of brooks of water.
He said, man, there's brooks of water everywhere. Water is not an issue. Water bills are not a problem.
Yeah.
You don't have to make, payments broken in different increments. You know, let me go and get on a payment plan so I can catch my water bill back up. I'm gonna divide this $1,000 water bill into 6 months of payments while trying to maintain the current water bill.
Right.
And then still make up for that so I don't get my water cut off. Or I got worried about hooking water hoses up to the neighbor's house, knocking on the door. Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind if I just hook my water hose up to your house real quick? So, just to get till I get this water back on.
Exactly.
Just fill up a couple of buckets, which is not a problem. But these are the things that the Most High said I was trying to give you to not have to worry about this. This wasn't a problem. He said the brooks of water was plentiful. It was bountiful. You didn't have to worry about water bills or water.
Lack of water.
Can I pull one scripture? Let's go real fast to let's go to Proverbs 21 verse 17.
Come. Proverbs chapter 21
Uh-huh.
and verse 17.
So we're on Proverbs 21 verse 17.
Come. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man.
He that loveth what?
Pleasure shall be a poor man.
Now the scripture also says, New Testament says that men love pleasure more than love the Most High, and their God's their own belly. We end up worshiping the creation more than the what? Creator. So I get this position of this apex of my life, and I'm in this condition of glory and satisfaction and success. Do I take my eye, because the Most High said He's supposed to be the apple of our eye, do I take my focus off the Most High and put it onto my condition? Like Job said, did I ever kiss my hand? Did my eyes behold the sun and I kiss my hand? Meaning I think that I brought myself to success. A lot of times or often we get in the position of glory or the position of things are going well. We're looking at our works that did it. I did this. It wasn't the Most High's providence, it was me. Read on.
Come. He that loveth wine and oil.
He that loveth what?
Wine and oil.
I'm too into the celebration.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to. The river. I'm not pay for no water. I'm not a tributary to any man. I'm not sitting here having to worry about struggle. My family is straight. My car is straight. My oxen are straight. My chair is straight. My life is straight. I can plan for the next 20 years, and I don't have to worry about wars coming. In that condition where I don't have to have any fears that make me cleave to the Most High, do we maintain that constancy with the Father, or do we sit here and fall in love with the wine and the oils and the pleasure and the luxuries and the comforts? The Most High wants to know, what do you love more, your luxuries and comforts or the Heavenly Father? There were still Levites back then. There were still men serving the temple. But where does the common man's mind go when it's not the threat of loss? Next scripture. Let's go to from there, one more scripture and we're done. With that, we can keep going.
Are you done with
Let's go to Ecclesiastes 19 and 1.
Okay.
Ecclesiastes 19 and 1. These are traps.
Yeah.
These are traps when you're in the condition of success. Because everybody knows when they're in poverty, man, they know they got to serve the Most High. I got to serve the Father. I got to give them honor to the Most High. This marriage ain't going right. This job ain't going right. I'm not stable. I got to pray.
Yep.
But when things are going well, do we pray? Do we fast? Do we read? Do we study? Or do we enjoy the time? Let's read Ecclesiastes 19 and 1.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 19 and verse 1. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness.
See, the problem is the wine and the oil. The oil represents luxury.
Yep.
And the wine represents what?
Influence.
Influence. When I'm in my comfort, I'm looking for something to stimulate me. A lot of rich people like that, bro.
You know why? Because why have all this money and you can't benefit from it? You know, so why have all this comfort and opportunity and you can't enjoy it? You know, it's almost like, why do I have it if I can't satisfy the particular parts about me that itch for something? Exactly. You know, I gotta scratch this itch. You can't scratch an itch when you're broke. The only thing you can do is window shop and daydream.
Yeah.
And say, man, wait till I get my money right. You gotta hope for better days.
Yeah.
You can't scratch an itch when you ain't got it. You just gotta wait and be patient. But when you do have it, then all of a sudden, all the things that you had contemplated in your mind, that you had made a wish list for, now you're going in pursuit to checking off the bucket list. Now I got the money, so I want to do this. Check. Now I got the money, so I can do that. Check.
Yeah.
Now I can afford to do these things that I couldn't afford to do before. So all these things, I start checking off these boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But finish reading that. I like that.
Ecclesiastes 19 and 1.
Ecclesiastes chapter 19 and verse 1 reads, a laboring man that is given to drunkenness.
Because Solomon's kingdom took a lot of labor to get there. Remember, we read in previous classes about The nation, 9.5 tribes, the 10 tribes were asking for what? Can we get a little break, bro? Can we get some relief from our labors? Solomon pushed us, and we appreciate what Solomon did. Can we have a slight break? Right? And then the king, his understudy was like, listen, man, I'm going to be stronger than, my pinky's going to be stronger than my whole father's loins. I'm going to be harder on you. I'm going to chastise you with whips and scorpions. I'm not going to have any consideration. So the nation was already conditioned to labor. But it's showing the transition of a laboring mindset to a luxury mindset. That's when kingdoms fall. That's when men fall. We bust our asses to get what we want, to get everything stable, and when the house is stable, stop teaching.
Oh yeah, brother. One scripture on top of that. I'm glad you bring it out. James chapter 1 verse 21. Somebody read that. Yeah, you're right, brother. That's exactly what happens. And this is what the Most High is warning us from. And this is what Josephus is explaining. How does this happen? How do you fall from grace?
Come.
Let's go here. James chapter 1 verse 21.
Come.
Then get back to Dawiah's verse.
James chapter 1 and verse 21 reads, wherefore, lay apart all filthiness.
He said lay apart what?
All filthiness.
He said he's going to tell you what's filthy. He didn't explain what's filthy. He just said lay apart all filthiness. Read on.
And superfluity.
He says, and superfluity of what?
Of naughtiness.
Now, get the definition of superfluity in the Greek. Get the definition of superfluity in the Greek. He said because this is how men diminish. This is how cities diminish. This is how houses diminish. This is how kingdoms diminish.
Superiority, preference, preeminence, gain, abundance.
Gain, abundance. That's what he said. He said lay apart all filthiness and superfluity, which is gain, meaning I gear my mind on just the abundance of what I have, enjoying the abundance and gaining the abundance and retrieving the benefits and the amenities of life. He said all these things, they bring you down. That's why he said lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of what? Of naughtiness. Because abundance and gain is no good for you. When you get too high up in comforts, you start to erode within your spirit. Then there becomes a conflict of interest. Do I now enjoy the fruits of my labor? Or do I now continue to focus on the Most High and dedicate myself to the Most High, who's the one that gave me the abundance? Now there becomes a conflict of interest. Like you said, we start worshiping the creature, or more than the creation, the creator.
That word superfluous is a parisia in the Greek, and it means surplus.
Abundance, gain, and surplus. He said this is naughtiness, man. That's no good for you.
Then it says in 828, surplus, overplus, that which remains when its use is satisfied, excess beyond what is prescribed or wanted.
Now he said the excess, that's the danger. Finish that in James.
Come. James chapter 1 verse 21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness.
Read on.
And receive with meekness.
With what?
With meekness.
With pleasure.
Meekness.
With abundance.
Meekness.
With excessive amounts of increase.
Receive with meekness.
Go ahead.
The engrafted word.
Because you're supposed to be focused on the Most High more than the excessive nature of what you possess.
Wow.
The amenities of life. Read on.
Which is able.
Because the abundance can't help you. The increase can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
The gain really can't do nothing for you. It's only this word that can do what?
Which is able to save your soul.
When it comes to soul salvation, saving souls, the abundance of what you possess doesn't save your soul. It just makes you feel better, and it gives you options that you never had before. It gives you choices, the ability to make choices that you never had before. Go places that you were never able to go before. Do things that you weren't able to do before. But it can do nothing for your soul. And so this begins the eroding of discipline. This begins the eroding of consistent diligence in pursuing the Most High.
Because there's the illusion of I have enough or more than enough, so I don't have to burn or redline. I don't have to redline. I want to pull one scripture. It's cool.
Yeah, please.
Luke 12 and verse 15. Luke 12 and 15. Because you always go into section 1, the deceitfulness of riches.
Yeah, it is deceitful. Because it provides a distraction. Is what it is. That's why riches are deceitful, because all it does is create distractions, and it takes your allegiance and your devotion, which belongs to the Most High, and it starts swaying those devotions to your comforts and your leisure and what opportunities you have. Go ahead.
Luke chapter 12 and verse 15. And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth.
So there's 2 points in the scripture that I want to emphasize. Covetousness, meaning if I'm in a poverty condition, I still have a strong want. But once I'm in a condition of success and growth and surplus and superfluidity, and I want for nothing, was I working on that covetousness?
Yeah.
Or was I really working on that strong desire I had? Now, I just get to manifest and actually really indulge based off my covetousness. So the riches wasn't the demon. The demons was I got to the point of riches, now I got to reveal and manifest my covetousness, which is my true desires. That's what happens when we get in the position of success. Therefore, the Most High must keep us in poverty. He must keep us in struggle. He must keep us in the condition of loss. Why? Because I'm not faithful. If I'm not faithful in loss and poverty, how will I be faithful in success and riches? If I'm still covetous in a position of poverty, and I'm still negative during poverty, how will I not be negative during riches?
You know, that's like people that won't study the Bible and won't come to class, study the Bible, read, and they say, you know, I got to make sure my household's stable first, and then once I get it to a certain level of financial freedom, then I'll come to class.
God.
Then I'll study the Bible.
That happens a lot.
Then I'll worship the Most High.
God.
After I take care of my bills and my responsibilities. Their priorities are out of order. A lot of our people think that, you know what, if my finances were straight, I'll serve the Most High even that much more. Don't let me win the lottery. If I win the lottery,
I love the Lord
man,
so much.
you're really gonna see how charitable I am.
You see the real man.
Okay, yeah.
But we say that. We're really trying to bait the Most High. Can you?
Yeah.
It's a little hustle. But he don't see
Give
that.
me this.
Yeah.
Watch what I do with it.
Watch what I do. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till I hit the lottery. And you're going to watch the Most High really put that spirit on me to be a giver. You don't know what kind of giver I am until I get to that position. Okay.
That's Israel.
That's Israel, bro.
And
And
then-
the Most High understands this.
God.
You want to finish that in Ecclesiastes
I want to
19?
finish that and then we're
Okay.
Ecclesiastes chapter 19 and verse 1. A laboring man.
So Solomon's time period, the nation, 10 tribes, Judah, we were laboring till we got to an apex as a nation where everything was gold, everything was blessed, no menial jobs, great condition. It's almost like you can see that this is going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thought pattern. Read on.
Come. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness.
But then there's the desire for influence. Now that I'm doing well, what's that God over there? The Most High is the Most High. I know the Most High. What's that over there? What's that grow over there? What's that? What's that ceremony over there? What's that nation doing over there? I need more stimulation than just the daily routine. Because I'm good right now. Read.
Shall not be rich.
Shall not be what?
Rich.
You're not going to maintain your prosperity or surplus. Read.
And he that contemneth small things.
And a person that hates or doesn't want to pay attention to or value detail for detail, point for point, important things, the step-by-step routine that he has in his life as a nation, as an individual, as a family, what's going to happen next?
Shall fall.
Shall what?
Shall fall.
Shall fall how?
by little and little.
So you're watching a nation do what? Decline little by little into what situation?
Yep. They reached the pinnacle of a kingdom, bro, during Solomon's time frame. It was never going to get as good as it got during the time of Solomon. And even during the time of Solomon, his disposition started to erode. His focus started to change. And then begat the eroding of the rest of the nations. And this is how we get to the point where we're at now. But finish that in Deuteronomy. Let's finish this point in Deuteronomy.
Come.
Deuteronomy chapter 8. You're in probably verse 8.
8 verse 7.
Verse 7? Yeah. You're in verse 8 right now.
Okay, come. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 8. Well, we didn't finish 7.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, cool. For the Most High, thy power bringeth thee into a good land.
Go ahead.
A land of brooks of water,
Go ahead.
of fountains, and depths that spring out of
Man,
valleys.
when you got fountains, you could get under them fountains and bathe and swim and shower. You know what I'm saying? You got fountains of water, bro. You just get to indulge in the water just splashing down on you. The water just overflowing. You know what I'm saying? You cliff diving. You're doing all kind of
I've been
things.
seeing Benjamin do that. They go out there and the waterfalls in Jamaica, and they be like,
Yeah,
wash their hair out, and like it's just beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's paradise, bro. They got found body glistening, coconut oil all on them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
God. Verse 8. A land of wheat and barley
Go ahead.
and vines
Go ahead.
and big trees
Read.
and pomegranates.
All the
Everything
all the
fresh.
beautiful things, bro.
Whew.
Read.
A land of oil olive.
Man, you got the best olive oil.
Mm.
You got that $30 bottle of olive oil.
Yeah,
You got that $3 bottle of olive oil.
God,
They come in a plastic bottle.
That Dollar Tree oil.
Yeah, that
it's
Dollar
yellow,
Tree.
really yellow too. Like,
Yeah. It says unfiltered.
Yeah.
It's got like tree particles still in the olive oil.
Yeah.
You got that good olive oil. Read on.
And honey.
Go ahead, and the best honey. You got the honeycomb in the honey. Still there.
That's the best.
That's the best, bro. You eat the honeycomb with the honey?
You have the option if you really want to go there. You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 9. A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness.
It said without scarceness.
Scarceness.
But there's so much in abundance you don't have to worry about the bread. Because the wheat is there, the barley is there, the grain is there. Read on.
Thou shalt not lack anything in it.
So when we were in our apex of a kingdom, there was no lack. All the other nations paid tribute and were tributaries to us.
Yeah.
You know, they brought in the resources. Read on.
A land whose stones are iron.
You got quarries. You got mines. You got gold mines. You got iron mines. Read on.
And out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass.
Read on.
When thou hast eaten and art full.
Now this is the problem. Now you have to wonder, how does a nation decline? It says, because once I start indulging in the amenities that the Most High has provided for me, once I reach the apex where I don't have to worry anymore, I don't have to think about and pray to the Most High and be dependent upon the Most High for food. I don't have to depend on the Most High for water, for bread, for income, for resources.
Scarcity.
There's no scarcity. I don't have to depend on the Most High no more. What happens the minute we don't have to depend on the Most High? Read on.
Then thou shalt bless the Most High.
You're still supposed to do what?
Bless the Most High.
You're still supposed to bless the Most High. Go ahead.
Thy power.
Go ahead.
For the good land.
For the what?
For the good land.
Now, what you're supposed to do is transition to a mind of thankfulness and appreciation. You're supposed to transfer to that mind state. I'm not supposed to grow unthankful. But how do you know I grow unthankful? Because I stopped praying to the Most High. The Most High no longer is my focus as much as it was when I was hungry. As much as it was when I was broken, when I was depleted. Read on.
For the good land which he hath given thee.
You're supposed to be praising the Most High 10 times more. Read on.
Beware that thou forget not the Most High.
It said, beware that thou do what?
Forget not the Most High.
Because the Most High says, judge wrong, wax fat, and what?
Kids.
That's what we do. We grow thick We grow in abundance and resources, and the Most High becomes the last thing on the list of priorities. The Most High in his righteousness goes on the back burner. The amenities and the options of what wealth provides becomes my focus. Read on.
And not keeping his commandments.
Right. Then the commandments aren't that important.
Not that important.
They're not that important. I don't need the Most High's help as much. Read on.
And his judgments.
The way the Most High looks at things, I don't really care how the Most High sees things as much. Read on. Because I can afford my own judgments. I can buy my judgments.
Wow.
Read on.
And his statutes.
Go ahead.
Which I command thee this day.
Go ahead.
Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply,
Go ahead.
and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied,
Go ahead.
and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Most High thy power.
What do you call that when your heart is lifted up?
Pride.
It's pride, man. Wealth brings about pride.
Yeah.
Wealth influences pride. It enables pride. That's the danger of wealth. That's the danger of superfluity. That's the danger of increase and abundance. Read on.
Come. Which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
Go ahead. You forget the struggle.
Yeah.
You forget how hard things were and what it took to get to that point. Go ahead.
Who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions, and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint.
16 and 17. Read that.
Come. Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at thy latter end.
That
Go
he
ahead.
might humble us and prove us, that he might do us good.
Well, finish that.
And thou say in thine heart, my power.
He said what?
My power.
He said what?
My power.
So when things get good, we stopped focusing on the Most High, and we start acting like it was me that got me to where I'm at. It was my wisdom that got me to where I'm at. Yes, sir.
Another definition of rich is also self-righteous and abounding in one's own opinion.
That's what we do. That's that pride. Pride is an unduly high opinion of oneself. That's that pride. I indulge in my pride, and I believe because I got to a certain point and a certain status of comfort where I'm not in such a need of the Most High. I'm not in such a need of His commandments that I don't need the Most High anymore. I'm good. That's the most dangerous position for Israel to be in, is that position where I say I'm good. Because that's what we like to say. Man, I'm good, man. Hey, man, you want to come to class this weekend?
I'm good.
I'm good, man.
Shit.
Hey, man, you want to go study with me? Nah, I'm good, bro.
I'm good.
Nah, I'm straight.
Hey, man, you want to come to Sabbath class with me?
I'm straight.
Nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
I'm really good right now.
I'm good, man.
I don't need to do those
I don't
things.
need saying I'm good is saying I'm sufficient. I don't need that. You need that. Read on.
Come. Then it says, and thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand have gotten me this wealth.
So now the Most High is no longer the focus. The Most High is not the one that we're trying to please. He's not the instrument of our pleasure. We're not trying to diligently seek the Most High anymore. Read on.
But thou shalt remember the Lord thy power, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth,
Go ahead.
that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day.
Now let's go back to Josephus, book 8, chapter 10, and pick that up one more time in paragraph. I think you have that, Ahmad. Pick that up in paragraph 2.
Con. Book 8, chapter 10, paragraph 2, about the middle of 251. Or unless you want me to start all over.
No, just 251. Just go ahead and read that.
Start at the top.
Yes, sir.
Con. Book 8, chapter 10, paragraph 2. Now I cannot but think that the greatness of a kingdom and its change into prosperity often become the occasion of mischief and of transgression to men.
So how does a kingdom fall from its glory? Read on.
For when Rehoboam saw that his kingdom was so much increased,
He says, when Rehoboam saw that his kingdom was so much increased, what happened?
he went out of the right way.
He went what?
Oh,
He went out of the right way.
So this is not just Rehoboam. This is a lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
This is not Rehoboam's lesson. This is the lesson for the children of Israel. As soon as we don't have a need to serve the Most High anymore, we continue and disconnect from being obedient.
That's crazy, bro.
This is part of our culture. You know, as far as we'll go, we'll get in a Jake world. Our people will go as far as buying a Jesus piece. And say, with the ruby eyes,
Yeah.
with the ruby tear coming
Yeah.
off his eye.
Uh-huh.
Our people will go as far as getting some tattooed rosary beads on their body, or some praying hands on their body, thinking that that's my religion. That's me showing homage to the Most High,
Yeah.
because I got a tattoo of a cross on my arm.
Mhm.
That's me telling the Most High I believe. That's about as far as that's about deep
how
as it
people-
gets. That's our people.
Tattoo.
But the Most High said, listen, the problem is not the fact that you got wealth. The problem is the fact that you forget to pay homage and devotion to the one that gave it to you. Getting wealth is not a problem. It's not unlawful to get wealth. But where does your mind go when you get it? And this is how houses fall, relationships fall, kingdoms fall, cities fall, nations fall. Yes, sir.
Can I pull up a scripture, please?
What you got?
It's in Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 8. It says, better is a little with righteousness
Go ahead.
than great revenues without right.
Exactly. And this is how kingdoms fall. This is how houses fall. Read on.
Con.
No, let that go.
You know,
Finish
because
this.
what's crazy is everybody's fighting to get to that good position,
Yep.
and they use the Most High as a backing. They tap into work ethic. They tap into sacrifice. They tap into doing things, not making mistakes, mitigating errors, preventative maintenance, trying to make sure they cross their T's and dot their I's, sticking to the straight path, inspiring themselves, maintaining their day-to-day routine and pattern. All that just to enjoy for a small season. Because the Bible says the triumph of the wicked is short.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked is meaning I have the wrong mindset. So as soon as I succeed, and then I tap into my covetousness, or my desire for comfort, or my desire for distraction, or my desire for doing things at my own pace, or I want freedom from the routine, then what? The decline. Here comes the collapse. Here comes the fall. Here comes the scarcity. Here comes the poverty. Yes, sir.
Now I want to pull up one more point. When we were talking about all of the possessions, and we was going over that definition, superfluity, and how it meant abundance. And I want to just pull one scripture on that point, if I may. It's in Psalms chapter 37 and verse 11. Psalms chapter 37 and verse 11. It says, but the meek, right, shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. So that's that peaceful mindset that we was going to have when we had all this abundance of possessions of, whether it's pomegranate, fig trees, we had the water, we had good land, which was given to us by the Most High because we were meek. We wasn't in our pride thinking that we got it ourselves. We had this wealth ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
And the piece is that I enjoy serving the Most High whether I get the riches or not.
Yeah.
If I get the wealth, I'm still grinding for the Father.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get the wealth, I'm still grinding for the Father.
Come,
If I get that magic situation, the Most High is the apple of my eye.
come.
Doesn't change.
The situation's a product of your sacrifice, but the prize is not your situation. Most High said, "I am thy exceeding reward." He said, "Israel, I am thy exceeding reward."
Right.
We don't look at it like that. We think our reward is the situation.
We think, you look at the civil rights movement, the eye on the prize was us drinking water next to the white man. That was the goal.
That was the victory.
Going to school, and they're being able to sit next to them in college or high school,
Come.
drinking water right next to them, being allowed to go in their restaurants and we want civil rights. That's not the price. Civil rights is not the prize.
That's the kingdom, bro.
The Most High is the prize. Read on.
We're still in the
Yeah, still in Josephus. Read
Okay,
that.
so Josephus, for those that just came in, we're in book 8, chapter 10, paragraph 2. I'll start back and I'll just read through. Now I cannot but think that the greatness of a kingdom and its change into prosperity often become the occasion of mischief.
Stop right there. For those that just came in, we're dealing with Israel. Solomon's dead, of course. Jeroboam has died. His son, his understudy has died. There is now reverberations, or there's echoes or generational curses that are starting now, based off the bad decisions of their predecessors. And Israel's in a state of success and an apex as a nation. And now we're at this national apex, and now we want to take our foot off the gas. We want to relax and enjoy the fruit of our labors. We want our wine. We want to sit here and explore. We want to experiment. We want to sit here and decline in our labors. We want to sit here and explore ourselves. Like the Bible says, the heart of the fool seeketh to discover his own mind. That's what a fool wants to do. A fool wants to discover what I want now. What do I have a taste for today? What I feel right now. What am I feeling? What's in my heart today? Because I have the wealth to back up my desire for exploration. This happens when you get into marriage. The marriage is good. The house is stable. Now, since things are good, I don't have to worry about a decline or scarcity. What can I give myself to next? Not can I show the Most High appreciation. No, that wasn't the first inclination. The first inclination would be, how do I pay the Most High back for the abundance He's given me? We went to the definition of superfluidity. Superfluidity is what? Excess more than what's needed. What can I do with the excess the Most High has blessed me with? How can I positively direct the riches and the benefits I have towards the benefit of the Most High? We don't think that.
Yeah.
We think, how can I benefit? How can I take this wealth like the rich man? He said, I got many barns. I'm gonna tear down these barns and build greater. He wasn't thinking about benefiting his nation in other capacities. And what can I do to benefit the nation? He went into selfish mode. My condition's good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tear down these barns and build greater. He didn't think about, what can I do to benefit my nation more? We get in a position of comfort and we don't think about the benefit of the nation. We think about our own physical, bodily, or intellectual benefit. And therefore you have to decline. Therefore we have to diminish. So then you fall into what? Mischief. Read.
Middle of line 251. And of transgression to men.
And transgression to what?
To men.
Because now I'm arrogant now. A lot of rich people just can't get along, bro.
Yep.
They just can't get along. The poor get along in poverty, unless they're too poor, right? But as far as poverty, we know I gotta take care of my brother. He's all I got. I'm all he got. He's all I got.
Yeah, but that's not what we do. That's not our focus when we get. The focus becomes, what can I do with the wealth?
Exactly.
What can I do with this accumulated superfluous, abundance that I've received? What can I do with it? Ecclesiastes chapter 29 verse 10. Ecclesiastes chapter 20. I'll be right with you. Ecclesiastes 29 and 10.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 29 and verse 10.
Rich, start at verse 9.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 29 and verse 9.
Read that.
Says, help the poor.
When you get abundance, you're supposed to convert your abundance to who?
Help the poor.
You're supposed to convert. When you get wealth, you're supposed to turn around and do what?
Help the poor.
That's what it's for. It's not so that you can travel abroad and now soak up and check off the bucket list and enjoy the fruit of your labor and take your foot off the gas and slow down and indulge and now reap the benefits of your labor. Read on, or retire. Read on.
Help the poor for the commandment's sake.
Read on.
And turn him not away.
Read on.
Because of his poverty.
Read on.
Verse 10. Lose thy money.
You're supposed to do what?
Lose thy money.
So once the Most High give you an abundance, you're supposed to take that abundance and convert it to who? Read on.
for thy brother.
You're supposed to take that abundance and convert it to your brother. Transfer that abundance to your brother. Read on.
And thy friend.
To the people that surround you. Read on.
And let it not rust under a stone.
Because what we'll say is, man, I need to hold on to what I got because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's a lack of faith. I got to hold on to what the Most High has given me because, you know, I got to make sure that I got enough for me. And because I got things that I want to do in my life. Yes, ma'am.
So if I hit the lottery, then I need to give my winnings to the brother.
If whatever the need is to fill the need.
Okay.
Man, I just get somebody some cash in the hand.
Yeah, you know, I'm just not. It says the scripture say, "Give to the godly man and help not a sinner." I'm not just dropping this lottery off to anybody, but as the needs are, I'll fill those needs and fill those voids and gaps that people need around me. Right. Read on.
Come. It says, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost.
Go ahead.
Lay up thy treasure
For who?
according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold.
It says, so if you turn around and convert the resources to the people that the Most High put around you to dispense those needs and fill those gaps, he said it shall be more profitable than what?
Gold.
Because you're laying up treasure with the Most High now. But when you look at the kings of Israel, every time the Most High set them put them in a position and set them on high, where they had infinite wealth, and there was no need, no wars, no need for food, scarcity of bread, the focus changed.
Yeah.
Read on.
It says, shut up alms in thy storehouses.
Go ahead.
And it shall deliver thee from all affliction.
So you can have resources, but that doesn't mean the resources will actually satisfy the future needs that you may have. But alms will, charity will. But our people, they lose sight of staying focused on the Most High when the increase comes. The Most High is no longer the focus anymore. What I need to do, the things that I need to do, the things that I need to take care of, become more prominent than actually my servitude to the Most High. So my needs and my passions become first. The Most High becomes second, if second. Finish that in Josephus.
Con Josephus.
You had scripture?
We're in.
Hold on.
No, I didn't want to do that, but it was just riches. It's attached to it. I'm not gonna pull it, but it's attached to the riches are bewitching.
Yeah.
Because bewitching just means the power to control.
Right.
As we get that power to control, if we have the ability, the opportunity to do it, we use it to avoid vulnerability.
Right, and you know that's that power to control and those riches, which we know in Luke 4 is what Satan possesses, because that's what he tried to offer Christ. All these riches and all these glories shall I give unto thee if thou bow down and worship me. See, Satan uses the riches to bewitch people. That's his bait. His bait is power and control. His bait that he baits and fishes people with is position, glory, honor, riches, comfort, wisdom. What did he tell Eve? Your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be wise.
Yeah.
Meaning what? You don't have to depend on who?
God.
No, you don't have to depend on your man.
Your brother.
You don't have to depend on Adam. You can still function and be an independent woman. You can be independent. You'll have the wisdom to survive and take care of yourself without having to be under the orders and submission to Adam. It was an opportunity for her to be elevated out of having to not have control over her situation. That's what Satan offered, because these are the Satan's bait that he uses for temptation to pull people away from the Most High.
Yeah.
That's why the riches are bewitching.
It's the devil's candy, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that. Everybody wants to taste that freedom, and that liberty.
Oh, that control.
You said the witches are bewitched?
No, bewitching.
Oh.
Meaning this is what Satan does with people with wealth. When wealth tricks them into not having to be in submission anymore, because now they got options.
I don't have to do this. I
got-
don't have to do that.
I got choices now.
Come.
I can execute my heart's desire. When I was broke, I was limited in what I could do and how I could feed my passion and feed my pleasure. I was limited in how I could indulge in my personal pursuits. I was limited. But with the riches, take off the cuffs. They take off the handcuffs.
Yeah.
I'm free to roam. I'm free to go.
Yeah.
I don't have to be here if I don't want to be here.
I'm not arrested by my situation.
No, I'm not. I'm free to go. I'm free to choose. I can live according to how I want to live now. And this is the deception that riches provide a person when they're not making the Most High the number one focus. Finish reading that. We want to get to this point real quick.
We're in book 8, chapter 10, middle of line 251 in paragraph 2. It says, "For when Rehoboam saw that his kingdom was so much increased, he went out of the right way."
He said, when this happened to Rehoboam. This what happened to Rehoboam. Rehoboam was got to the point where he started indulging. Rehoboam started indulging in the wealth that his forefathers accumulated. All the labors and wars that David put in order, to set up Solomon. Solomon sat in a high position, the highest position you could sit over the kingdom. Everything was in order. The temple was in order. His house was in order. His wealth, the resources, everything was in order. Rehoboam inherited this wealth. And what did he do when he inherited the wealth? They said he went out of the right way.
Yeah.
That's what people do. As soon as they get in a position where they don't have to be subjected to anybody or anything, and they have freedom to make their choices, they will. They usually do. We see it all the time. We see brothers bail out on the truth with an insurance check from a car accident.
Multiple. Yeah. Every last man that car.
And I'm not even talking about no big check like an 18-wheeler accident. I'm talking about like a measly $6,000 check, $8,000 check, $10,000. Bail out. I'm out, man. I just want to let you know the water for everything that y'all done. You always get that speech. Bro. The water for everything that y'all done.
Oh, okay.
The water for the class. The water for the brothers, you know what I'm saying, for the camaraderie.
Yeah.
But, I kind of made my mind up. I'm about to go back and, try to recover the things that I lost.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to reconnect my old relationship, or I'm trying to resurrect the relationship with my children. I got to go on my own personal pursuits. I got to, you start seeing what men normally lay under the surface, and what men normally hide under the surface is when they get the opportunity and that wealth comes into play, it's no longer on the surface. They can't hold it in no more. It can't contain it anymore. It cannot be contained. They try to contain it for just a little while, but it be burning in their palm, man. That money be burning and itching in their palm, burning a hole in their pocket.
Yeah.
And the Most High, all of a sudden, is now distant. This is not a Rehoboam issue. We're reading it historically about Rehoboam. This is not a Rehoboam issue. This is an Israelite issue.
Yeah.
This is our people's issue. Yes, sir.
Can I get one scripture?
What you got?
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 15.
Read that.
But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Thou art waxen fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness.
Thick means thick-headed, usually thick-minded. That means that's equivalent to stubborn. That's what happens to our people. You can't tell them nothing when their situation gets increased. That's you know what? Kanye said it. He didn't even know what he was saying was biblical.
Yeah.
He said, "Wait till I get my money right. You can't tell me nothing, right?" No, you're right. The Most High said that first. Kanye didn't say that first. He said, "My people, they get thick." That thick is talking about a stubbornness. It's a fat over the brain.
You can't get through.
You can't get through. You can't penetrate.
You can't tell them nothing.
You can't tell them nothing. That's what our people do. Finish that.
Then he forsook the Most High which made him.
Then he did what he really wanted to do.
And then that's what everybody does. They get to a point where they get increase, and then the Most High gets thrown to the side. We're reading it right here in Josephus. Let that go. Finish that.
Middle of line 251, page 231. And he despised. Oh, Slakia, I missed the spot. He went out of the right way.
And you know what a man does? They're going out the right way because they secretly wanted alternatives the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times we be ground for the Most High, be complaining. And when you get in a condition of wealth or riches or comfort, now you can manifest your complaint. Now I can seek alternatives. I'm just working and I'm pretending to be in order, until I get where I really want to get. Then the Most High.
You know what that means? My heart wasn't in it.
Exactly.
That's what that means. That's what that goes to show.
Yeah.
It goes to show that my heart wasn't really there. The whole time, I was in this position because I really was in a position of need. But as soon as I'm not in a position of need anymore, I manifest my true desire. My true desire comes into play. Read on.
Unto unrighteousness.
So I transfer now from being on point, doing what I'm supposed to do, being diligent, to being unrighteous. There's this conflict of interest. My needs are number one. The Most High is number two. Read on.
Unto unrighteous and irreligious practices.
There you go. Irreligious.
Non-religious.
I do not. I'm almost. I roll like an atheist. What does that mean? None of your main meditations, your main thoughts are not about reverencing the Father. Your mind's on your car, your mind's on your bills, your mind's on your situation, your mind's on your pleasure, your mind's on vacation, your mind's on your next meal, your mind's on a relationship, your mind's on a thrill, your mind's on entertainment.
Yeah.
Your mind's on everything except for the reverence of the Father. That's irreligious.
Okay.
Now I can see a person in that situation, that thought pattern, when he gets to a position of wealth. But we be that way with nothing.
Right. Crumbs. We had crumbs. We had crumbs and we that way.
We were that way with like $5 in our pocket and we think like that.
Yeah.
I could get a guy who got $1 million, his mind's tripping.
It's a pull.
It's a pull, man. I'm in the grind with the Lord, but I got like 100,000, 200,000 in the bank right now. I could do anything I want to do. I catch a plane right now. I can change the weather right now. But we do that with like $50 in the bank. We do that with your car guy. You just got an oil change up.
No, or we got an old car. And
Yeah.
we start telling people how what they're gonna do and not do in my car.
Yeah, what you're gonna do, what you're not gonna do.
Yeah.
I had my 1994, 95
Yeah.
vehicle. We're silly, bro.
You know what? We was here. Hold on. We was in Ecclesiastes, right?
God.
Okay. Finish that. We're gonna continue reading.
Come. Ecclesiastes chapter 29 and verse 13. It says,
No. Let that go. Let that go. We're gonna go back to Ecclesiastes, but chapter 10. Finish reading that in Josephus.
God, in the line 251, it says, and he despised the worship of the Most High.
He said he despised the worship of the Most High. How do you get to the point where you're so comfortable that you actually start despising showing the Most High reverence and showing the Most High respect? How do you go from, like you said, that's damn near atheist, bro.
yeah.
I'm going completely backwards from the Most High because I got comfortable, because I got prosperous. Now I don't even care about worshiping and honoring the Most High because I got comfortable. That's outrageous, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's extreme.
it's like he bugs you.
You went from a believer to a non-believer because you got some simple wealth that only the earth can provide. Nothing spiritual though, only tangible, limited resources that you use on the earth, and the Most High goes out there when you cast off and sacrifice your whole spiritual well-being for some simple trinkets. It's retarded, but that's our people. Our people are this way. Our people don't see the Most High in the purest light as soon as they're increased on a personal level.
Yeah.
Read.
Till the people themselves imitated his wicked actions.
Now we're getting to the point of, like we just brought up, when Dawiyah was talking about how when the elders, the authorities, or the parents, that those generational curses, when you got people in charge that were a bad influence over the children adopt the habits of their forefathers. They adopt the habits of their predecessors. So now these wicked actions, now I adopt the things that I saw my father do. I adopt the things that I saw my mother do. I adopt the things I saw the family tradition. Gang culture is family culture. So it's only right that I do and follow the same footsteps as I watch all my family members, because this is what we do as a family. And you pass down the wickedness straight down to your children.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. That's our culture. These are our traditions. And so whatever you do as a leader, you better believe you set the tone and the example for the rest of your house. If you sleep at your house all day and all night, you better believe your children, as they get older, will sleep at their house all day and all night. If you don't make the Most High the focus at home, neither will your children make the Most High the focus at home. They will duplicate what they see. They're only going to follow what they know. They're only going to subject themselves to what they've been watching you do and imitate these actions. You never thought they were watching that close. You know, the worst thing you want to hear as a parent is, where'd you get this from? I got it from watching you. That's usually a parent is like, they choked up. What do you mean you got that from me? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
When you see me do that.
When you see me do that. When? That's this interrogation now. Because now you choked up because you know it's true.
Yeah.
But then now you choked up because you're in denial, because you can't believe you set that example, because you wasn't observing. You wasn't paying attention. You didn't know they was watching you that close the whole time.
Yeah.
But the things that you choose not to focus on, the people under you will adopt. They won't make it. It won't be as important because you didn't make it important. If they don't see the Bible in your hand more than the TV remote, then you better believe they're gonna have the TV remote in their hand more than the Bible.
Yeah.
This is the natural procession of what happens when I set a tone and I set a pace. The people under that tone and under that pace will follow that pace. If I'm off and on with the Most High, your children are gonna be off and on with the Most High. It's natural. The subordinates are only gonna follow the leaders. That's what they're supposed to do. Until then you ain't know your children was all out of control, and then you didn't know, like, damn, how did they get this way? Then you gotta really scratch your head, and you gotta start asking yourself, what examples have I laid down in front of them where they've become irreligious in some of their behavior? But read that one more time.
God, it says, and he despised the worship of the Most High till the people themselves imitated his wicked actions.
Oh man, the people themselves did what?
Imitated his wicked actions.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 1. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 1 reads, a wise judge will instruct his people.
That's a wise judge.
Yeah.
A judge. Doesn't the Bible say that the wisdom is the desire of discipline? Right?
32. That's Ecclesiastes 32.
Okay, come. Yeah. So a wise man is first a man that desires discipline, right? And then before wisdom comes the what? Fear of the Lord. These are prerequisites for wisdom. So a wise judge in prerequisite is what? A person that has extreme amounts of discipline, and a person that does what? Fears the Lord. So meaning what? I develop my spiritual conscience first. My conscience, I may not be wise, but I worked. I made my job. I made my endeavor. I made my focus developing a spiritual, biblical conscience, a Christ-like mindset. Right? Then I learn how to govern my members, govern my lusts, govern my desires, govern and control my thinking. Yes, sir.
Oh, just one definition for a judge. One of the definitions is officer for the officers.
Yeah, a judge is the officer. It's a person that has some sort of responsibility over other people. I have some type of influence.
Yeah.
So the prerequisite for being an officer or being a person of influence is I have a conscience that's towards the Father, toward Him, is directed towards Him. Not Buddha, not Allah, not my mama, not my cousin, not my neighborhood, not my block, not the past, not back in the day, not the rapper. My conscience is directed towards trying to sit here and mimic the thinking of the Father. I'm trying to mimic the Father's thoughts. Then from that point, what's stage 2? Now I'm at this battle, this war, to discipline my members. I'm trying to discipline my indiscretion. We all have indiscretion, meaning we have this, we have folly and silliness and intellectual weakness, mental weakness. So now I'm in the pursuance of what? controlling day by day, step by step, my tendencies.
Yeah.
Because we all have weak tendencies.
Yeah.
So a judge or a wise man has gotten the ability to manage his mental weakness and has a conscience towards emulating the thoughts of God. That clear? This is that wise man. Now what's stage 2? Read.
It says, and the government of a prudent man.
The government means policy. Policy. That means your, I would say methodology, but it's your approach to life. What's your approach to your marriage? What's your approach to the discipline of your children? What's the approach to your day? How do you approach when you have conflict with brothers? How do you approach your free time? How do you approach when you're driving the street? How do you approach, what's your approach to when you're stressed? What's your approach? So the government or the approach, read on.
Of a prudent man.
The approach of a man that is sitting here protecting himself from loss, spiritual loss. Because prudent means prudence is not wisdom, but it's the ability to mitigate losses.
Yeah.
I know if I get too much of my lust, it's over. I know if I get too covetous, it's over. I know if I start here being out of order, it's over. I know if I sit here and stop caring, it's over. I know I get too stubborn. I know I get stubborn. I run to a brick wall, and I have all these consequences. So as a prudent man has the ability to avoid negative consequences. That's a very prudent person. Read.
Is well ordered.
Is well what?
Ordered.
Ordered, meaning not disordered. When I'm disordered, I look up. Damn, I'm behind on this bill. Damn, she's flipping and shrimping. Damn, I'm getting counseled. I'm in counsel again for the same thing last week. Damn, the Most High is stinging me. Damn. You know why? Because I'm not in order. So a judge does what? A wise judge emulates the thoughts of God, disciplines himself, and is dealing with his he knows he has weak tendencies. So I'm always monitoring, and I'm always looking at my tendencies. Right? Like a car where you have alignment issues. You know, if you go to sleep at that wheel, what's your car finna do if you have alignment issues?
You're off the road.
It's finna veer off the road. You know it. You cannot sleep with the wheel. And you know your approach has to be the correct approach, or you have what? Consequences or reverberations in your life. Read on.
Verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself.
Now, as the amount of focus and labor you put into being that judge figure, being that officer, being that man or woman of influence with your family, the amount of work you put in will reflect in your people. Your people are a sign of your lack of discretion, or your lack of work ethic, or your lack of focus,
or your irreligious nature.
Your irreligious nature. Your people, the condition of your people, the spiritual condition of your people, they are a direct reflection of you.
Yeah.
So
every time.
So if they don't pray, it's because what?
I don't pray.
Because I don't pray. They're only going to see and duplicate everything they see from you. And anybody that's in a leadership position, a parent, a mother, a father, you got to be even that much more constant and consistent with your behavior, because they're watching at all times. They're soaking up everything you say and do.
That's true.
From the back seat, from the time that you think they're not listening, but they got that little bottle in the back seat, in the car seat, strapped up in the car seat with the bottle in their mouth, but they watching you. They listen to the music you're listening to. They bobbing their head to the song, and they shooting guns. They shooting guns like this. I was born to shoot. They shooting guns like this, little pistol guns in their hand. Yeah. They doing everything they see you do. They know lyric for lyric, all the words to it. They can barely talk. Play that song. Yeah. Play that song, Mom. Yeah. You wonder where they get it from. Play that song. They doing this in the back seat. They bobbing in the back seat. You don't think they're watching you?
Yeah.
You don't think they're picking up and digesting and absorbing the information that you put in front of their face? He says the judge is himself. You got to know that the people under you are going to be a reflection of you, like Dawiyah just said.
And that's why this society is so negative, because that's a reflection of the politicians and their approach to society.
Yep. Greed.
People want to blame,
capitalism.
People are crazy, man. People out there just robbing and stealing and out there liberal as hell, just being liberal. They're identifying with frogs and dogs and cats and babies, grown men. That's real.
Come.
But guess what? They're a reflection of the reverberation of the approach of leadership. What leader says, I consent. They call that, this is what I always say, I'm not going to co-sign. If leadership co-signs it, I can do it. You don't think that applies to you too? And your household too? And your people too? If you co-sign weakness, you're saying you can be weak. Read.
Come. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers.
So are those that are emulating and patterning themselves after the king, queen, or officer of that situation. Read on.
And what manner of men?
What manner? Manner always mean type. What type of people are you developing? What is your product? Everybody has a product. Everybody produces something.
Yeah.
We all produce something. What are you producing? Read.
And what manner of men the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
Simply, what is your product? What is the product of the last 6 months of decisions going on right now? Whatever you got going on right now is the product of at least 6 months of choices and slacking and your thought pattern or your lack of piety or forgetfulness or the Most High is not the priority right now. My comfort is the priority right now. Whatever was riding you for the past 6 months, your household and your people are that reflection now.
Right. So if your household is in a slum, why is that? Because I've been in a slum.
The Bible says why. My approach, my lack of discretion, my lack of discipline, my lack of making sure my mind is at least congruent with the Father. We got to at least match thoughts. Have I put the work into doing that, or I just tell myself I'm doing a good job? Self, I did a good job.
Yeah. Kiss that hand, right?
Yeah. Man, I did it. I've been working. I've been grinding. Yeah. Bills are paid. All I know is the bills are paid. All I know is the lights in the house.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. You did a good job keeping the lights on. Now, what is the spiritual condition of the people around you? Because they're feeding off of you. Read on.
It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people.
There you go.
There it is. Now, the brother just asked a question. Do we have a camp in Louisiana? Shalom, brother. We do have a camp in Houston. I know Houston's closer to Louisiana than we are. But after class, just we'll hit you with a link so you can contact the brothers out in Houston, and we'll get you in connection with them so you can actually get the fellowship with those brothers out in Houston. Those are our fellow brothers and laborers in Christ. So everything that they believe in and do, we back it up and co-sign it, and we're right behind them 100%. So the same level of intensity and care about the flock of the Most High pasture as we have, they have as well. So we'll hit you with a link and give you that information to those to the brothers and sisters out in Houston, so you can link up with them for sure. Shalom.
So as the king is what?
It says, an unwise king.
Jeroboam, Solomon, it don't matter who it is, you just change the name, it's the same thing. What's the effect of Solomon? Well, he did great, everybody was balling, everybody living good. And then he did what? Started building temples, got to his women, got linked to the pleasure of life. When you read in classes to come, dealt with excessive depression. Right? What about Jeroboam? He want to sit here and compete with other kings, and he want to sit here and lock into idols.
Yep.
I want to lock in idols and make it about me and not follow counsel.
Make 2 golden heifers, golden calves.
2 golden heifers. We already did this as a nation. We already did this. If you read your history, if you're not irreligious, you would know that we almost didn't make it to the kingdom because of the golden calf situation.
Yep.
We almost didn't make. We almost stayed in the wilderness.
The Most High told Moses, "Get ye down from this mountain. I'm about to destroy this people."
Yeah.
The Most High was about to do away with Israel as a whole.
For that golden calf.
For that golden calf. He said, "Look what they do." Moses had to run down the mountain, and then he threw the commandments down.
It was almost over.
Yeah,
it's like there ain't no point of commandments if we gonna get destroyed. Here's the commandment. Well, ain't gonna be no commandments. We all gonna be dead.
Yeah.
We're dead now.
Yep.
Then this guy's gonna sit here, and the spirit talk to him like we be doing. He's up at night, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and he said, "You know, I got an idea. I need to build 2 golden calves. I need to build 2 golden calves. I have to get the situation right again. Where did that come from? If I was studying the scriptures and I was trying to make sure my mind was congruent to the Father, then I would realize this is the same exact pattern that put us in a slump with God.
Only a tyrant to do that.
Exactly.
Because that keeps the people focused on me and dependent on me. If I deter the people from following the Most High, then I dictate their course. I dictate their direction. I dictate their sense of spirituality. That's me taking the people from following the Most High and getting them to worship me. That's a Nimrodian mindset. That's what Nimrod was about. I get you. My job is to convince you that your prosperity doesn't come to the Most High, but by your own particular endeavors. But in the meantime, let me be king over you. In the meantime, let me tell you what to do. In the meantime, I need all your resources to build this Tower of Babel. So that's what a tyrant will do.
Make themselves the focus.
To make themselves the focus, to divert the leadership or the direction of the people from the Most High. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And that's still in the Most High's glory. Read on the scripture about the king. A king does what?
It says, destroyeth his people.
And we also read in the Apocrypha about a wicked woman destroys her what? Her household.
Yeah.
So a wicked woman destroys her household. A wicked man destroys his people. It's what makes the word wicked or evil just means to injure. Because we say, I'm not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You say you're not that bad, but what is the effect you have on your people? Is your policy injuring your people? Is it having a negative effect on their development? Is it negligent? Negligence is also having a negative effect. We think, I ain't doing nothing wrong. I ain't tripping. You know why? Because you're in your negligence and your lack of piety towards God. You don't think you're doing anything wrong because you're not seeing how is my lack of care and concern for the Father affecting my people? They're still eating, they're still breathing, there's still lights on in the house. You're thinking like a simpleton.
Yeah, that's do what I say, not as I do. Don't be me, be better than me.
Yeah.
While you stay drunk in front of your household.
While I'm influenced and in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Read.
While I'm half naked as a mother.
Exactly.
Walking around short skirted, half naked, high heels on, flaunting my body. But I'm telling my kids don't be like me.
Don't be like this. Don't be like this.
Cleavage showing, chest sticking out. But I'm telling my kids don't be like that.
Have piety towards God.
Yeah.
I get the bet. You're too young for this.
Yeah.
You're not grown.
Stay in your place.
You're not grown.
Yeah, stay in your place. You're not to stay out of grown folk business. What does that got to do with righteousness? But then you wonder why she's 13 and she's got makeup caked up, half naked clothes, but she's only 13. Where do you think she get it from? Or you get it from her mama.
As the mother is, so is the daughter. Right? So what's happening? All the children do is pattern the parents. All the people do is pattern the king.
Pattern the leaders. Mm-hmm.
So the condition of your people is a direct reflection of impiety and irreligious practices towards the Father. Lack of consideration.
Rehoboam brought in this mentality. He brought in the misdirection from focusing on the Most High to having the people now be corrupted due to his actions, due to his injurious practices, due to his irreligious behavior. Read on.
It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them.
And I gotta stop right there, because we know the word destruction is connected to what? Lack of knowledge, right? Hosea 4:6, we're destroyed for lack of knowledge. So an unwise king destroys his people by what? Not teaching his people. Not teaching by what? My actions don't have a moral ethic to it.
Right.
My actions don't demonstrate virtue. My actions don't demonstrate wisdom.
You know what we like to do? We like to use a sound weapon. What would I tell you? Get over there. You ain't listening. You don't listen. We like to use a sound weapon, but our behavior is totally backwards.
It's contrary.
But we don't mind using that sound weapon. Get over here before I spank the crap out of you. But look at our actions. Our actions don't match what we're demanding other people to perform. But our actions, we're hypocritical in our leadership, in our parenting. And when you have this, the people, it's a natural course that the people will only follow what they see in front of them. Read on.
It says, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
Stop. Through the prudence. We're talking about prudence is what? The ability to avoid the consequence of the sting of the Most High. I'm always conscious of the Most High stinging, and I'm sitting here making sure I'm sitting here and have a grasp or a grip and policies that keep me and protect me from getting out of control.
And I'm making sure that I don't provoke the Most High to anger.
Come.
I'm not doing anything to where I'm provoking the Most High's wrath against me or my people. Because that's who's going to suffer.
I'm provoking the Most High. So a wise king is not going to provoke the Most High so his people will prosper. Read that point one more time.
Come. Verse 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people.
An unmindful, negligent, irreligious king destroys his people. Read on.
But through the prudence of them which are in authority.
If a person in authority with a strong conscience of the Most High and with the practice of discipline over weak tendency, read.
The city shall be inhabited.
The city means everybody connected to you. Everybody around you is going to be in prosperity. You know why they're in prosperity? Because they're in some sense or some method or some way emulating your passions.
Yep.
They're following your passions, not your words.
Whether you want them to or not, they are. Whether you try to hide it and be discreet, kids find your little trinkets that you got in the house.
Yeah. No.
Kids stumble on the things that you try to keep secret. Kids stumble upon it because kids are nosy.
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, what is this?" It's a lighter. It's a lighter. It's some papers.
They discover some
There's
things.
some papers in the lighter. It's green stuff.
What is this? Is this oregano?
Lettuce under the bed.
Come on. That's crazy.
Yeah, the devil's lettuce.
Ain't no lie.
Yeah, oh, what is this? You don't think kids find that? You try to hide it? Get out of my room. It's too late. It's too late.
Saw it already.
It's already too late. Don't tell your mother. Don't tell your dad what you saw. It's too late.
Just throwing it in the air.
Yeah, it's too late. You know that the damage is done. The implant, the impression has been laid in their mind. My mom does this, and she doesn't tell my dad. My dad does this, and he doesn't tell my mom. You know, it's too late at that point. But you brought it in the house. You laid the foundation. And now you're at odds because your children are out of order and you can't control them. But read on.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Verse 4.
I changed.
Yeah.
Says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Most High, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
Go ahead.
In the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor.
And if you're not going to be a good example and you're in a position of leadership, the Most High will remove you and put a different leader behind you. And that's what we're reading about in this succession of kings. That's what First Kings is all about. That's what Second Chronicles is all about. First and Second Chronicles. Men that didn't want to hold on to their integrity. Men that didn't want to be a good example. So the Most High took them down and put another one in place of them. Because they didn't want to hold on to their integrity. They wanted to focus on the benefits of the position.
Yeah. Big time.
The amenities of the position. And failed to understand that it's by the Most High that got me here. I'm supposed to praise the Most High that much more. So what happens when a man doesn't praise the Most High that much more? The Most High takes him down. He starts to erode inwardly first. And then the Most High, due to his example, has to remove him out of the way. Because the people will suffer. Let's finish that in Josephus. Go back to Josephus, where you was at, Ahmad.
Josephus, book 8, chapter 10, paragraph 2, line 252. For so it usually happens.
He says, for so it does what?
It usually happens.
And this is common. This usually happens. This is a common practice. Go ahead.
That the manners of subjects are corrupted.
It says that the manners of subjects, the people that are under people, the followers, the ones that subservient, are their manners are what?
Are corrupted.
Why?
At the same time with those of their governors.
He says their manners are corrupted at the same time as their what?
With those of their governors.
Because as the king is, so is his what?
His people.
So is his people. So is himself and his people. As himself, so is his officers.
So that was the same thing happened with Adam, right?
Same thing. He said usually. Now we know that Seth was on point. Seth was on point. The Most High focused his the lineage of Christ coming out of Seth, not out of Cain. The Most High cursed Cain, brought up another one, brought up Seth. Seth didn't follow that example. Seth was on point. Abel was on point. But when it comes to being damaging, Cain adopted that spirit, that disrespectful, disobedient spirit. And you wonder why my kids are disobedient and disrespectful. Out of all the list of kings that came out of the southern tribe of Judah and the northern kingdom of Israel, out of 20 kings that succeeded after Solomon, only 6 of them was good. 2 started off good and ended bad. Out of the 19 kings that came out of Jeroboam, 1 was so-so, and the rest were no good. Because of examples, for example's sake, the examples were contaminated. And if I lead forth a contaminated example, I can only expect the people under me to be contaminated. He said that usually happens. Read that one more time.
Line 252. For so it usually happens that the manners of subjects are corrupted at the same time with those of their governors.
Go ahead.
Which subjects then lay aside their own sober way of living.
So now the subjects are the ones that were innocent. All they were doing was following.
Yeah.
It wasn't really their fault. They're just sponges. They only do what they're told. They only follow what they see. They only imitate their leader's behavior. They're innocent. What happens?
Lay aside their own sober way of living.
Man, they go sideways. And we wonder why our children is constantly getting in trouble at school. It's a reflection of what's going on at home. Read on.
As a reproof.
As a what?
As a reproof.
Of what? The Most High has it set up this way so that the subordinates are out of order with the leaders as a way to correct, to identify to the leader that what?
As a reproof of their governors' intemperate courses.
So the Most High got my wife out of order as a reproof for my what?
Intemperate order or courses.
The Most High got my children in trouble all the time as a reproof for what?
My intemperate courses.
Cities, camps, nations, tribes of people are broken apart. Because of what?
Intemperate courses.
Because of the leaders' intemperate courses. If I maintain any type of intemperate courses, the Most High has it to where the people under me will get out of control as a sign to let me know that I'm out of order.
It's a reflection.
It's a reflection. This is what the Most High uses to keep a leader in check. He uses the ones under the leader to show the leader that you're out of order. Somewhere. Somehow. And he uses the subordinates to identify the fact that you're out of order. And that's how the Most High set it up. Because how else is the king going to know, or the leader is going to know that he's out of order?
Right.
He uses those intemperate courses of the ones under him as a way of correction and letting it be known, hey, you're losing focus of me. Look at the people under you. They're losing focus with you because you're losing focus with me. Read on.
God, and follow their wickedness.
And they do what?
And follow their wickedness.
As for what reason? As a way of reproof. Something got to get me back right with the Most High as a leader. That's why the scriptures say, be not many masters. for they shall receive the what?
The greater condemnation.
The greater condemnation. That's why for you to want to be a leader, you better check yourself. For you want to be a parent, you better check yourself. For you want to be in charge, you better check yourself. For you want to boss hog and tell people what to do, you better check yourself. For you want to sit in any type of seat of authority, you better be on top of yourself. Because the Most High is going to use everybody under you to identify what you don't do. And throw it in your face. All in your face. Face.
Yeah.
Like you Jordan. Face. Shot it in your face. That's how the Most High throw it in your face, bro. Got him. That's how the Most High do it. He sets it up this way because something got to be able to let you know, hey, they're out of order because you're out of order. They're not on point because you're not on point. They're not following because you're not following. You're missing something. You've cast off discipline somewhere. Your children are casting off discipline. Don't get me wrong. Children, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. They're going to make mistakes. But you got to understand, you still got to look at yourself. Children going to do stupid things. They're going to do childish things. When I was a child, I thought as a child. I spake as a child. But when I became a man, I put away what?
Childish things.
Childish things. Children going to do foolish things. But you still not supposed to be like, what, them crazy kids? Oh, it's just the crazy kids. Oh, them crazy. You know how kids are. Oh, it's always the kids' fault. Oh, you know how them crazy kids be. You know this generation. This generation out of line, man. Well, this generation that's really lost got it from a gangbang generation, that got it from a crack epidemic generation, that got it from a hippie generation.
Yep.
But you want to blame this generation. But you look at the diminishing of the disciplines and integrity of generations over time, but it's always the kids' fault. That's why if you sit in any seat of authority or position of leadership, check yourself. Check yourself extremely. Criticize yourself first before you so quick to put it on the children. Read on. Just like a leader got to be conscious. Any leader got to be conscious of this. Read on.
And follow their wickedness as if it were virtue.
There you go.
Man, come on.
They think they're doing something big. I'm big now, I must be grown. I'm just like mama. Even the boys, they dress like their mama.
Packing guns is almost looked at as a virtue. Like, yeah, I got my Thule.
I'm real.
I got my blicky.
Yep.
What they call it?
They call it
Blick.
The blicky.
Got the blick and the llama.
I got the blick and the llama.
Hit you with the blick.
Yeah, I upped on him. I had to up on him.
Yep.
Oh, you bragging about upping on somebody?
Yeah.
You bragging on a body count? I spun around on him.
Yeah.
I spun around the block on him.
I rode in my ops.
Now you looking at this like this is a virtue, like this is a good thing.
Right.
This is a good thing.
I could drink you under the table.
Well, I can drink you under the table. You're a lightweight. Oh, that's a good thing that you can be drunk all the time. That you can do a keg stand. That's a good thing.
Just
So
like
you could swallow a 6-pack in a beer funnel. Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, you're righteous now. You can go shot after shot after shot, and you straight, and you can still drive home because you could drive drunk. That's a good thing now.
You got it like that.
Because you got it like that. It's crazy, man. Our people,
Most people can't do this.
Yeah, they can't do this like I do it, but I hold it down because I'm a real one. I'm a real one. I'm a real one.
Ain't very many.
Yeah, you're a real one, all right. You're a real error to the people around you.
Right.
Yeah.
Specifically to those under you. Read on.
Con. For it is not possible to show that men approve of the actions of their kings.
How do people show that they approve of the actions of their king? How do children show that they approve of the actions of their parents? How do leaders show that their subordinates approve of their behavior? How do they show that they're in agreement? Read on.
Unless they do the same actions with them.
How do I show that I'm in agreement with my leaders?
Unless they do the same actions with them.
It's natural to impersonate the people above you.
Emulate.
emulate. That's because this shows that I'm in agreement with you. Because I'm trying to be like you. That imitation is a form and a way to show that I agree with your behavior. Because I want to be like my daddy. I want to stunt like my daddy.
Exactly.
And then what Lil Wayne said, I'm going to stunt like my daddy.
As if it's virtue.
As if it's virtue. Yes, sir.
It's crazy because like when I was young, like and you know my friends would tell me like, oh yeah, I smoke weed with my mom, I smoke weed with my pops, and like when I was young, I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like that's I looked up to that when I was young. Like damn, I want to smoke with my family. And then like becoming an adult, I'm over here smoking still. I'm like, hell no, like I shouldn't be looking up to that shit. Like my son over here getting older, becoming a young adult himself. What the hell am I doing still smoking weed? Like what the
right.
But it's crazy because like that's what this is. That's the world will catch you up and make you think that it's all like all boundaries. It even says right here sober living, right? And so I don't know, for me it just hits hard, it just hits home for me, man. Like it's crazy.
Right, because you know we say that as a youth, we say, man, that'll be cool to do that. And you a parent, you're like, man, that ain't cool.
Yeah.
My kids ain't bringing this in my house. They're not doing this in my home.
That's how the corrupted way of thinking was. It became so normal.
Right, but I let my guard down. Those parents that you're referring to, they let their guard down. They lost their discipline. And they had a distorted form of morality. You know what? They set their children up for failure. Because I see man after man come in my house. I get a man, replace him with another man, replace him with another man, replace him with another man.
That's the tradition.
That's how you do it. I'm laying down the foundation that when you have an argument, you have a disagreement, you know, don't chase them, replace them. I got men coming in left and right in my house. Well, I'm a father, and I got women coming in left and right in my house. What is the foundation that I'm laying down? That this is acceptable behavior. And the kids only want to do what the parents do.
It's called a role model.
Yep.
They're modeling the role.
Yep. They're playing that same role that you play.
Exactly.
It's normal. It's supposed to be that way. But not in irreligious practices. Not in disobedient practices. Read on, finish that.
Line 253. Agreeable whereto it now happened to the subjects of Rehoboam.
That what?
For when he was grown impious,
when Rehoboam grew impious, what happened?
And the transgressor himself,
and he became a transgressor himself. Go ahead.
They endeavored not to offend him by resolving still to be righteous.
It says they didn't want to. This is how Rehoboam's leadership went down. His kingdom went down because his people said, "We'd rather follow the king, so to show the king that we're in agreement with him, than for us to disobey the king and follow the Most High." Now I caused a conflict of righteousness within my subjects. Now the people are confused. Now I brought about confusion. So now people that are supposed to be looking up to strength, because I laid down a weak example. Now the people they don't want to defy the people that they look up to. They don't want to lose the respect of the people that they look up to. They don't want to lose the connection that they have with their elders. But then now I'm stuck in the middle. I'm stuck between doing what's right in the eyes of the Most High versus following after what I see the people over me do. Now I just put my kids, or I put my subordinates in an unfamiliar, unrighteous position where they got to now choose, and they don't know what to choose. Do I choose to do what my parents did, or do I choose to follow the scriptures and follow the Most High? Yeah. But my parents are my main source of influence. The elders are the main source of influence. Now the subordinates are left stuck trying to decide. Now they have to make the choice. When before, if you would have been a pillar of strength, they would have locked into your strength. And they wouldn't have to be in such a distorted position of, do I choose the world or do I choose the Most High? Children get stuck in that position. Men get stuck in that position. Camps get stuck in that position. Leaders get stuck in that position.
The people are going to emulate the role of authority.
Absolutely. So now I think we made that point pretty sufficient. Let's go ahead and salute thy one man. Yes, sir.
I just asked scripture.
What you got?
It's 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
Right. It says you got to take heed. But you know who's the weak one? The ones under you. Yeah, you could create a stumbling block to the weak people under you because your influence is dangerous. Your influence to the weak is talking about the ones whose conscience is weak. Meaning they don't have the fortitude developed within their conscience to make the right decision. They're still fragile or learning or sensitive in their development. They're still ignorant in their development. So they don't know what righteousness is and how to make the best appropriate righteous decision. They're still unfamiliar with righteousness. So here I am, through my liberty, because I'm the parent or I'm the adult or I'm the one in charge, you're just supposed to do what I say, not as I do. But no, I can influence the weak ones the wrong way. And that's why it says what he says in Corinthians. That I got to make sure that I don't embolden those weak minds to go astray from the Most High. That's that influence. I got to be careful when you're in a leadership position. You carry influence. Don't you know when you out and about with people that look up to you, you may forget that they're watching your every decision. Don't you know they're watching you make dietary choices? They watching you drink what you drink. You know what I'm saying? If I'm drinking Red Bulls, they're gonna see me drinking Red Bulls.
Red Bull every day.
They're gonna drink Red Bull because they think that's
13 years old drinking Red Bull.
They think that's the spirit. Yeah. Why are kids drinking macchiatos?
I remember that we had the mall, and the kids ordering like this expensive.
Yeah. Give me a all blonde. I need a blonde macchiato with almond milk. I'm like, man, that little 5-year-old.
You don't need that.
Yeah, a blonde macchiato with almond milk. You know what I'm saying? Steeped with
steeped.
Yes.
You know what steeped means?
And I want heavy foam. Like a blonde macchiato steeped with heavy foam, and you 5 years old. Like you going to work, with the venti, make it a venti.
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
They're watching.
They're watching. Bro. They're watching.
That's true though.
You like kids drinking coffee already. You think Starbucks give a damn? Give a damn? Good. Make a new customer. Get another one hooked.
You know another one? And it's an old example, but it's the truth. Those little pictures of the camel at the gas station.
Camel.
Oh my God. They will always have those little. It was always in every magazine you look up. The camel is the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah, because the camel has sunglasses on.
He had the glasses. He was the coolest. He had the suit on. He had the women camels around him. It's like, you know what? I want to be like that camel right there. That's the character I want to be like.
Yeah, or the Marlboro man.
Yeah, Marlboro.
Tough.
Yeah.
Rugged on a horse.
They had the best. They had the best.
Beer.
They had the best commercials about those Marlboro man commercials. Like their sayings.
Yeah.
Ready for anything.
Yeah. I don't usually be dangerous, but when I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I drink so and so. You know. Now you like, man, the coolest guy in the world, man. I want to be like that guy.
Most interesting man.
Yeah, I want to be like him. Because you know what? Influence is very potent. We undermine the power of influence, but the Most High doesn't. And that's why kings had to fall. That's because kings eroded and they weren't conscious of their influence. That's why it takes a whole point, almost a quarter of a chapter, explaining this influence. How people under you are going to only watch what they see you do.
Come.
So I think that point has been made. Let's go back to, let's go ahead and salute that one, man.
Come.
Next read.
Taham Raka, Shal Shabbatah, Banashar, Banyashal.
Taham Raka, Shal Shabbatah, Banashar, Banyashal. So let's say it again.
It's like it.
Taham Raka, Shal Shabbatah, Banashar, Banyashal. Imagine. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Shabbatah.
Yahweh Hashem Shabbatah.
At the top. All right. Yeshabim. All right, we're going to pick up in, let's pick up in 1 Kings chapter. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 15, and let's kind of recap it, man. I know we kind of went real extensive in this particular point, but let's pick up on Jeroboam, just a few verses, and then we're going to jump to Asa in 1 Kings chapter 16. I just want to get a couple points out of here in chapter 15. Let's read this.
Verse 1?
Yes.
1 Kings chapter 15 and verse 1. Now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, reigned Abijam over Judah. 3 years reigned he in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Maachah, the daughter of Absalom.
Go ahead.
And he walked in all the sins of his father.
And that's the point. The point when you read Kings is you're watching a consistent downturn of discipline and commitment to the Most High due to certain leaders' irreligious behavior. And you know, all they did was imitate the actions of their fathers. And they duplicate, and because they imitated the actions of their father, it only makes sense that the Most High sting them and punish them the same way. Matter of fact, continue reading. Let me find that.
Verse 3. And he walked in all the sins of his father, which he had done before him. And his heart was not perfect with the Most High, his power, as the heart of David his father. Nevertheless, for David's sake, did the Most High his power give him a lamp in Jerusalem, to set up his son after him, and to establish Jerusalem. Because David did that which was right in the eyes of the Most High, and turned not aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, save only in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam.
And this is what I want to get to. There was what?
War between Rehoboam and Jeroboam.
There was war between Jeroboam and Rehoboam. Go ahead.
All the days of his life.
All the days of his life. So there was constant. That's why the title of this particular class is called The Incessant Tribal Wars of Israel. Why were these wars continuous? Because you saw men just duplicating the actions of their predecessors. All they did was pick up on the bad habits of their forefathers. Just like your children could pick up on the bad habits of yourself as a parent. Or as leaders, men under us will pick up our habits and become habitual in their incessant behavior or irreligious behavior. It's dangerous. You got to watch your influence. Your influence holds heavy weight upon the people under you. Read on.
Now the rest of the acts of Abijam and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And there was war between Abijam and Jeroboam. And Abijam slept with his father.
Go ahead.
And they buried him in the city of David. And Asa his son reigned in his stead.
Now there was one thing that was noteworthy that I want to bring out with Abijah. There was one thing that's noteworthy that he said. I know he didn't have much of a long influence in this particular chapter. He came and went real quick. He didn't have a long steed of rulership. But he did make some notable comments. And one of the notable comments I want to bring out is Josephus. Let's go to... Let's go to Josephus, book 8, chapter 11, paragraph 2, page 233. And this is when Abijah and Jeroboam was about to clash and go to war with each other. You know, this is when Jeroboam had outnumbered, Abijah. This is book 8, chapter 11, paragraph 2. It's page 233. I just want to get this was a notable, commemorable statement that that he said before his death. We read quickly in 1 Kings 15. He got his position, he did wickedness, and he slept with his fathers. His rulership and his reign was short, but he still had some outstanding moments. He had some notable quotes and some notable sayings that was worthy of understanding, of us understanding. So even though he was wicked ultimately and the Most High punished him, overall there were some good things that he said that's worthy to take notice of. So this is what we're about to read right here. Let's go to book 8, chapter 11, paragraph 2.
Paragraph 2, line 274. Yet did not Jeroboam lay any of these things to heart.
So here is Jeroboam excited, ready to go to war, outnumbering Abijah. Read on.
But he brought together a very numerous army and made a warlike expedition against Abijah, the son of Rehoboam, who had succeeded his father in the kingdom of the two tribes. For he despised him because of his age.
Now Jeroboam looked at Abijah like, man, you old as
You're
hell.
old, dude.
Yeah, you're an old ass dude. I'm gonna whoop you. You can't fight against me. I'm gonna tear you down because you're old. Read on.
But when he heard of the expedition of Jeroboam, he was not affrighted at it, but proved of a courageous temper of mind, superior both to his youth and to the hopes of his enemy. So he chose him an army out of the two tribes, and met Jeroboam at a place called Mount Zemaraim, and pitched his camp near the other, and prepared everything necessary for the fight. Line 275. His army consisted of 400,000, but the army of Jeroboam was double to it. Now, as the army stood in array, ready for action and dangers, and were just going to fight, Abijah stood upon an elevated place, and beckoning with his hand, he desired the multitude and Jeroboam himself to hear first with silence what he had to say.
So they're getting ready to go to war. All the armies are hyped. They're getting ready to clash and go into it with vigor. But he silenced both sides of the army, and he said, I want y'all to hear what I have to say. Read on.
Line 276. And when silence was made, he began to speak and told them the Most High had the Most High had consented that David and his posterity should be their rulers for all time to come.
Was he wrong? No, he wasn't wrong. Read on.
And this you yourselves are not unacquainted with. But I cannot but wonder how you should forsake my father and join yourselves to his servant Jeroboam.
So now who was Abijah's father? That was Rehoboam. So he said he's trying to get Jeroboam to consider mercy. He's trying to get Jeroboam to consider letting things go and excusing his father for his errors. Go ahead.
And are now here with him to fight against those who, by the Most High's own determination, are to reign, and to deprive them of that dominion which they have still retained. For as to the greater part of it, Jeroboam is unjustly in possession of it.
Was he wrong? No, he wasn't wrong. He was in a sense because the Most High anointed Jeroboam when Solomon went left. See, when Solomon went left, the Most High, that was the beginning of the Most High ripping apart the kingdom from Solomon. And that's why the Most High raised up Jeroboam. But Jeroboam made a lot of mistakes. He was irreligious, and he went through wicked courses demonstrating different new ways of worship to the Most High that wasn't allowed. Setting up the wrong priests, setting up golden heifers in front of the people to worship, changing laws in high holy days, taking out the Levites, putting anybody could be a Levite, anybody could sacrifice to the Most High. Yeah, he was crooked in his leadership, but the Most High put him there due to his grandfathers. Abijah, Solomon is the grandfather of Abijah. So due to Abijah's wickedness, Solomon's wickedness, the Most High did raise up Jeroboam. Read on.
Line 277. However, I do not suppose he will enjoy it any longer.
He said, but I believe, he's saying in his mind, I believe the Most High is not with you. But the Most High did raise him up. Read on.
But when he had suffered that punishment which the Most High thinks due to him for what is past, he will leave off the transgressions he had been guilty of, and the injuries he had offered to him, and which he had still continued to offer, and hath persuaded you to do the same.
He's saying that my father was wrong, but you're doing the same thing. You're making the same mistake my father made. He's telling Jeroboam, you're making the same mistake my father made. He was wrong, but you have a chance to make it right. Go ahead.
And hath persuaded you to do the same. Yet, when you were not any further unjustly treated by my father.
He says, you didn't like the fact that my father made labor hard on y'all. And this is why the tribe split. He said, you didn't like it when my father increased the labor and put the 10 tribes under tribute. And he was overbearing. He was overbearing and he was unjust in his distribution of labor to the 10 tribes. Read on.
Then that he did not speak to you so as to please you.
Go ahead.
And this only in compliance with the advice of the wicked men.
He's making excuses for his father in a sense. He's saying, listen, my father followed the wrong advice. My father's advisors were his peers when he had an opportunity to follow the wise men and the elders of the city. He chose to disregard the counsel of the elders, which would have retained his dominion in his kingdom, and he chose to follow his young peers. And he says, you know what, I'm going to lay more severe burdens upon him. He said, my little pinky is going to be greater than my father's loins. He got cocky, he got arrogant.
Wow. Yeah.
Read on. He said he listened to the wrong people. He followed the wrong influence. Read on.
You in anger forsook him.
He said you were angry. You were mad, rightfully so, because my father made bad decisions. And he made you angry, which is understandable. Go ahead.
And forsook him, as you pretended, but in reality, you withdrew yourselves from the Most High.
He said, but in reality, you forsook him as a man because you were angry at the councils. He says, but your behavior after you separated from my father's leadership, after the kingdom had split, your behavior showed that it wasn't just my father's fault. It showed that you really didn't love the Most High. So it wasn't all my father's fault. You used my father as an scapegoat to really go do what you wanted to do anyway. You used my father as an scapegoat to exercise your own liberty, freedom, and deception and irreligious behavior. Because if you really cared about righteousness, when you separated from my father, you wouldn't have built them damn heifers. You wouldn't have built them damn cows to be worshipped, them golden calves.
Right.
So he's showing that you don't really care about righteousness as you say you do, which means that this war that this vengeance that you got on you is unjustified, as if this is a righteous war that you're waging against your brothers.
Right.
It just showed that you didn't really care about righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
Because is it true? Did not Jeroboam have a chance to set up the kingdom appropriately when he went off and established himself?
Okay.
Of course, he did, but he chose not to. But so this is just Abijah bringing it out to show him what was in his heart and what wasn't in his heart. Read on.
It says, but in reality, you withdrew yourselves from the Most High and from His laws. Line 278. Although it had been right for you to have forgiven a man that was young in age.
He said, yeah, my father started leadership. Rehoboam started as a young man. He was young when he got in power. He was going to make bad choices.
Young decisions.
He was going to make bad decisions like young leaders do.
Mm-hmm.
Young leaders make young leader choices and they make bad decisions. They make horrible decisions. New men in power, just like a new husband. A man that's never had a wife, that gets a wife, you better believe she's going to see all the mistakes that he makes.
Yeah.
He's going to be full of mistakes. But you know what a wife usually wants to do? Bounce, leave, escape, because of this man's mistakes. Because I can see your flaw. Shit, I don't want to be under this. Because you know what? That's what young people do. And so what he's trying to do is he's trying to beg Jeroboam, we don't have to go to this war. We don't have to subject ourselves to this war. We don't have to go and clash in battle if we allow an opportunity for mercy. if we allow an opportunity for forgiveness. If you can see that he was a young man, he made mistakes, and if you're willing to forgive him, we don't have to endanger so many people's lives and put them on the forefront in the middle of a battle and expose many people to harm and injury, because you can't let go of the fact that my father made mistakes. Read on.
Although line 278, although it had been right for you to have forgiven a man that was young in age and not used to govern people.
He was a bad leader because he was a new leader. He was a young leader. And that is true. Young leaders make piss poor decisions because they're not conscious of the effect and the influence that they got on the people under them. They're not and this is why we beg men that are officers, that are young leaders, to set forth the right example. How many times do we engage in arguments, debates, and correction with men that make bad decisions? How many counsels do we have to do to get men to see the seriousness of their position?
Countless.
But yet, young men still take that position for granted. Yet, young men don't understand. Young leaders don't understand. Hey, man, as me being in this camp or any Israelite camp, and I got responsibilities. I got to make sure that my responsibilities, my influence, my direction, that people are following is sound. It's sound, and it's not altered. It's sincere. Because otherwise they're gonna suffer. The young generation suffers if I'm not conscious of my influence as a young leader. If I'm not conscious of my influence as a parent, the children suffer. So all he was saying is, I would just hope that we can avoid this war just simply by applying some forgiveness. Read on.
Not only some disagreeable words, but if his youth and his unskillfulness in affairs had led him into some unfortunate actions, and that for the sake of his father Solomon and the benefits you received from him.
Read that one more time.
And
he says
and that for the sake of his father Solomon.
No, go from
back.
He says it says line 278.
Come on, line 278. Although it had been right for you to have forgiven a man that was young in age and not used to govern people.
He said he's not used to governing people. He's new.
Inexperienced.
He's inexperienced. He don't got no experience. Go ahead.
Not only some disagreeable words, but if his youth and his unskillfulness in affairs had led him into some unfortunate actions, and that for the sake of his father Solomon and the benefits you received from him.
He says, didn't you receive the benefits when Solomon was on point?
That's true.
Didn't you reap the benefits of Solomon being sound initially? When Solomon was on point with the Most High? When Solomon's actions pleased the Most High? Did not you reap the benefits from the kingdom when we were together as one and united? Why let the people under you suffer? And why not let peace abound and forgiveness abound so that we can restore an opportunity to be back glorious as a kingdom again? Why have these tribal wars? Why have these fights and this contention between us? Even though Abijah died quickly, but you got to understand what he wanted. He wanted unity between the tribes. He wanted the tribes to come back together. But he just followed his father's bad examples. Although his mind was in the right place, he duplicated the wrong. The negative influence was too far instilled into his mind to change. But he had a mind that wanted to change. But he duplicated. He had too many situations that was influenced by his father to duplicate the irreligious practice of his father. He couldn't change. His mind, and that's usually what we see amongst Israelite brothers. We meet a lot of good brothers that have a good desire to want to change. They just got too much damn negative rooted in them to keep them from changing. But they have a desire to do good. Like Paul said in Romans 10, right? He says, my people what? They have a zeal of God.
But not according to knowledge.
But not according to knowledge. They have a zeal, man. You can't deny our people's zeal. But what distorts them from manifesting the good that's in them?
Negative.
Too many bad examples laid down in front of them.
They call it bad habits.
Yep. They were calling bad habits. But our people do got zeal, man. And this man is zealous. But he goes down in history as a wicked king because he couldn't break the habits of his father. He goes down in history as somebody that was horrible as a leader.
He couldn't break the generational curses.
He couldn't break them generational curses. But it wasn't like he didn't have sense. You don't speak like this if you don't know, if you're not trying to restore two divided nations. You're not speaking like this unless you want to see some type of good happen. And a lot of our people are that way. We have a zeal to do good, but we just don't know how to do it. Partially because our examples were piss poor. And then now we're trying to make a crooked tree straight. Read on.
For men ought to excuse the sins of posterity.
He says men ought to forgive the sins. Now, he could have been a little partial in his statement because, of course, he's talking about his particular family line, his particular parents, his progeny. You know, he's talking in reference to Rehoboam and Solomon. So he could be a little partial in what he's saying. But overall, he's saying we can avoid this war. We don't have to go down. We don't have to go to blood for blood, because of some misdirection and bad leadership of a man that wasn't ready to be a leader. Now we got to go for blows and we got to go to blood and resolve this situation in war. That's not what he wanted. Read on.
For men ought to excuse the sins of posterity on the count of the benefactions of parents.
He says on the fact that they tried their best. And that's why some of us as children really try not to hold secret hate and grudges against our parents. Because you know what the truth of it was? Your parents were limited. Your parents were limited. They only followed what they saw in their parents. And they did what the environment around them taught them to do.
Or if they didn't have any parents.
Oh, they didn't have no parents. But our parents tried. You know what the truth of it is? Our parents didn't have this understanding. You know what they knew how to do? They know how to go to work and keep the lights on, the water bill paid, and a roof over your head. Because that's all our parents prided themselves on. You got a roof over your head, don't you?
Yep.
You're not barefoot, are you? But you got hand-me-downs on. You got some hand-me-downs on. You got your cousin's clothes on.
But you got clothes.
That trash bag was dropped off at your house.
Yeah.
And you had to sift through them clothes.
Right.
And the ones the pants that had the holes in the knees, you cut them in the shorts.
All day, man.
But
how many jean shorts?
Yeah, you like the jean shorts. Wow. Now they sell them like that. You know, no, we made them like that. We made jean shorts popular.
Wow.
Because we had some oversized pants that were too big with full of holes and just cut off the excess. But they did what they could. And that's all he's saying. Just like your parents were limited in their understanding and their discipline and their knowledge and their commitment and their dedication, why hold a grudge on them? Why hate them for their errors? In a sense, you got to look at the bigger picture. Yeah, you can't hate your parents for their limitations. Yes, don't get me wrong. Their example did make you suffer. And sometimes this is why people can't forgive their parents. Because you left me exposed to danger. You didn't teach me a better way. And I forever hold this against you. And I can't get past the fact that you were a bad leader.
So you're saying they didn't know no better?
They didn't know no better. And if they did know, that doesn't mean that they can't be forgiven. Just like our parents were sometimes not the best examples.
And what makes you right continuing that?
Right, unless you change.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he's telling Jeroboam is, you have an opportunity to be a better leader, although our leaders made mistakes. That's what he's telling Jeroboam. You could be better than our parents were. Just like every man should want to be better than his parents are. Read on.
Line 279. But you considered nothing of all this then, neither do you consider it now. But with so great an army against us, but come with so great an army against us. And what is it you depend upon for victory?
Now he's playing psychological games to him, because now he's getting into his conscience.
What are you going to get out of this?
He's saying, who are you dependent on? What's going to guarantee your success in this victory? What's going to get you out of this victory? What do you believe? Who do you believe in? Is it them damn calves that you built?
Gold calves.
What is going to help you in this battle?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your support source? Read.
Is it upon these golden heifers?
Is it upon them damn animals them fake animals that you put up, them idolatrous damn statues that you put up? Are you going to pray to them and they're going to get you out of this war? Are they going to make you victorious? Read on.
And the altars that you have on high places?
And you still erected the altars on high places. You never tore them down. Read on.
Which are demonstrations of your impiety?
Man, he says, the fact that you still got these altars up in your house is a demonstration of your impiety. That you still didn't make the Most High the focus. Which you blame my father, Rehoboam, and Solomon. But when you had the freedom and opportunity to do better and to serve the Most High without my father's errors, you still chose to be impious to the Most High and irreverent. It just shows you that you didn't have a connection with the Most High, but yet you want to blame the predecessors that didn't. You want to blame their mistakes. But you don't really have a real commitment in the Most High. Read on.
Let's see. And the altars that you have on high places, which are demonstrations of your impiety?
Go ahead.
And not of religious worship?
You're not authentic in your worship. Read on.
Or is it the exceeding multitude of your army which gives you such good hopes?
Or is it because you take more pride in the numbers? Because you got numbers on your side. Now, like I said, you don't read much about Abijah, but he had some notable quotes. He had some notable strong statements. And he was, in a sense, checking Jeroboam about his impiety. Is your strength in numbers? Or is your strength in idols? Do you put your faith in tangible things that are earthly? What does Colossians 3:1 say? Read that real quick. Hold that where you are.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 1.
Read that.
It says, if ye then be risen with Yahushua,
just like us, if we risen with Yahushua, read on.
Seek those things which are above.
We're supposed to be focused on what?
Those things which are above.
Even if you have bad examples in front of you, that's no excuse. Because you can use your examples all day long and say, well, my predecessors were horrible. My forefathers were horrible. My parents made buku mistakes. You know what? We can always use the previous generation as to blame to say, this is why I don't believe. Yes, it is a responsibility of theirs to lay down a solid example for the next generation to follow. But in the event that they didn't lay down a solid example, that doesn't give an excuse to you. You still have a responsibility, regardless of your foreparents' decisions and errors and mistakes, to still pursue a relationship with the Most High in Christ. Read on.
It says, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of the Most High.
Read on.
Set your affection.
Set your what?
Set your affection.
Go ahead.
On things above.
Go ahead.
Not on things of the earth.
But too many of our young generation, they got their mind on earthly things.
What if they just couldn't come out of it? Do the Most High have mercy on them?
It depends. I'll show you when the Most High got mercy on them. I'll show you when the Most High got mercy on them. Where you at in you're Josephus, right? You're in Colossians, right? Hold that flip back in the Josephus, Ahmad. Go to book 8, chapter 10, and I want you to read verse 3.
Paragraph 3?
Yeah, paragraph 3. Yes, sir.
Book 8, chapter 10, paragraph 3.
Now, we read Abijah speaking. Now we know that Rehoboam was wicked.
Yep.
We know Rehoboam was wicked, but even Rehoboam had understood that, you know what? I still got to ask the Most High for mercy. Read this right here.
Page 231, paragraph 3. Now when Rehoboam and the multitude with him were shut up in Jerusalem.
Now when their back was against the wall, go ahead.
By means of the army of Shishak.
When the Shishak king of Egypt had them pinned up against the city, had them fortified. When they fortified themselves and they were they were getting ransacked and plundered by the Egyptian king Shishak. Read on.
And when they besought the Most
They
High,
said when they did what?
and when they besought the Most High,
Even though you may be in a situation where your parents have put you in, that doesn't mean you can't beseech the Most High. That don't mean that you don't have an opportunity to reach out to the Most High because the people in front of you laid down a bad example and they got your back against the wall. Even when you're back, now we know Rehoboam just inherited the issues that Solomon had because the Most High was ripping that kingdom from him. But when your back is against the wall, at any time you can call on the Most High. But there's a process involved. What is the process necessary to call on the Most High to get His mercy? Read on.
and when they besought the Most High to give them victory and deliverance,
To get victory and deliverance, because all of us want victory and deliverance. Read on.
they could not persuade the Most High to be on their side.
Read on.
But Shemaiah the prophet told them that the Most High threatened to forsake them as they had forsaken His worship.
He said, the prophet told him, listen, just like y'all forsook the Most High, you didn't want to worship the Most High? Well, guess what now? You got your enemies outside surrounding you. And guess not who's not on your side? The Most High is not on your side because you forsook the worship of the Most High. So who's going to defend you? The same thing that Rehoboam's son is telling Jeroboam is the same thing that the prophet is telling Rehoboam, his father. Now who's going to defend you? Because you didn't find the value of worshiping the Most High as being preeminent. Number one, that wasn't primary in your life. Now you have no defense. That's scary news to hear when your enemies are in front of you.
Yeah, very much so.
Read on.
When they heard this, they were immediately in a consternation of mind.
You know what? They caught off guard. They confused. They scared. They conflicted. They're perplexed. They're tripping in the head, bewildered, at a loss for words. Read on.
And seeing no way of deliverance.
They said they ain't see no hope, no way out. Read on.
They all earnestly set themselves to confess.
It says they all did what?
Earnestly set themselves to confess.
So how do you get the Most High's attention when your back is against the wall and you didn't worship the Most High, but now you need His help?
Confess.
You got to do what?
False.
You got to fall down on your knees and confess. That's how you get the Most High back on your side. If you're going to get Him at all on your side. You got to confess what? Read on.
Confess that the Most High might justly overlook them, since they had been guilty of impiety towards Him.
He said they begged the Most High because we've been irreligious. I've been crooked in my ways. I've been rebellious and disobedient. I've ignored the Most High in His worship. I put the Most High second and I put my desires number one. So can you please forgive my errors? Read on.
Might justly overlook them, since they had been guilty of impiety towards Him and had let His laws lie in confusion.
Read on.
Line 257. So when the Most High saw them in that disposition,
when He saw them in that confession, that state of sorrow, that state of repentance, when He saw them in that state of mind, read on.
And that they acknowledged their sins.
And they did what?
And that they acknowledged their sins.
So can any man get mercy from the Most High?
But
what must he do?
Acknowledge their sins.
You got to confess. And you got to go back to serving the Most High. And you got to acknowledge where you done wrong. You got to humble yourself. Read on.
He told the prophet that he should not destroy them, but that he would, however, make them servants to the Egyptians.
He said, listen, I'm not going to let you die. I'm not going to let the Egyptians kill you. He said, but what I am going to do, you're going to serve them Egyptians, but I'm going to spare your life. But you're going to serve them damn Egyptians. So if I'm in a position where I've been either misled by parents or I've been a bad example to the people around me, to my children, or within my household, amongst my people. Will the Most High do away with you? He can. Can the Most High have mercy on you? He can. But it's all based upon what steps you take. How bad do you see your mistakes? How bad do you judge your impiety? If you can really look at the wrongs that you've done and humble down and get into a repentant state of mind, the Most High can allow and wink at a little bit of misfortune and errors. But it's all based upon repentance. You know what it just shows? How merciful the Most High is. And how loving He is. And how long-suffering He is. And how patient He is. Because you know what? If you can be honest with yourself, you've laid down hella bad examples in front of the people around you. It ain't always just my forefathers' fault.
Exactly.
I had no choice. I had no choice but to be like this. Son, no, there is a choice. You can see yourself. That's the number one choice you got. Your parents may not have been the best, but do you see yourself? Do you see your flaws? So let that go. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go back to where we was at and pick up in verse 8. Verse 8.
1 Kings chapter 5.
No. Finish that in book 8, chapter 11, where you was at Ahmad in
page 233.
You was in line
2.
Yeah, you was in
279.
You was read the top where it says, and the benefits you receive from it. No. You was on. And what is this that you depend on for your victory? Read that. Yeah.
Okay. Middle of line 279. And what is it you depend upon for victory?
Go ahead.
Is it upon these golden heifers and the altars that you have on high places?
Do you put your faith in your job? He says, we read in Colossians, he said what? You got that? You reading that thought one? Colossians 3?
I got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above.
Go ahead.
Where Yahushua sitteth on the right hand of the Most High.
Go ahead.
Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth.
In your vehicles?
Not on things on the earth.
On your career?
Not on things on the earth.
Your money?
Not on things on the earth.
So he said your focus should be where?
Affection on things above.
Things on things above. That's what he's telling. This is what he's telling Jeroboam. Is your faith in them damn heifers? That you got them golden heifers? Or is your faith in the Most High? Is your faith in the fact that you got numbers on your side because the odds are against us?
Yeah.
Because you got double the numbers that we got in this battle? Read on.
Verse 3. For ye are dead.
No. Let that go. And then finish that where we at right here.
Is it upon these golden heifers and the altars that you have on high places, which are demonstrations of your impiety and not of religious worship? Or is it the exceeding multitude of your armies, or of your army, which gives you such good hopes?
It says, man, is your hope in something on the earth, tangible, that you see, that doesn't even live? Them damn crooked ass golden calves. They don't. You know what I'm saying? These are just images of unbelief.
And going back to the old customs of Egypt.
Yeah.
Because Israel wants to. If this most high thing don't work out, I always have a backup plan.
Yep. And that's what our people do. Go to what line you on right now?
Beginning of line 280.
All right, go ahead.
Yet certainly there is no strength at all in an army of many 10,000s.
He said there's no what?
Yet certainly there is no strength at all in an army of many 10,000s.
He says there is no strength at all in the army of what?
Of many 10,000s.
He said, man, you could have many 10,000s on your side, and that don't mean nothing. What does Psalms 33 and 16 say? Somebody get that. Somebody else get Psalms. 1 Samuel 14 and 6.
Psalms 33 and 16.
Yeah.
Psalms chapter 33.
Somebody get 1 Samuel 14 and 6. Somebody else get Jeremiah 32 and 27. Somebody else get yeah. Somebody else get 1 Maccabees chapter 3 verse 18.
Jeremiah.
You got Jeremiah 32 and 27. Somebody else get 1 Maccabees 3 and 18.
Maccabees 3 and 18.
Yeah, let's read that.
Psalms chapter 33, verse 16.
Read that.
There is no king saved by the multitude of an host.
What do you say?
There is no king saved by the multitude of an host.
You can have all the numbers in the world. Doesn't mean you're going to get out of this battle. You could have all the, because people put their faith in the most superficial things. People put their faith in artificial things that they can see with their eyes. People have no real belief in the Most High that goes beyond their 2020 vision, 2010 vision, whatever the hell their vision is. Them little gelatin, little members in your body that got retinas and pupils and irises on them. Your faith don't go beyond them two things right there. Because that's what people do. They put their faith in the most artificial things. And they think that these things that I got around me are going to save me. These things are going to hold me up. Read on.
It says, a mighty man is not delivered by much strength.
They said a mighty man is not delivered by what?
Much strength.
Read on.
And horse is a vain thing.
Yeah, what's a horse today?
It's a Mustang.
That's the type of horse.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a lot of horses out there, man.
Stallion.
but a lot of our people do what? They put their strength in what?
Vain things.
In vain things, bro. Vehicles, bro. The houses, money. Bro, you put your faith is shallow. You putting your faith on the fact that you bought something?
This is real simple. Huh?
Come on, man. We got to get deeper than that. Now the Most High with me because I got a horse. The Most High got to be with me because I got a horse. That's just evidence that the Most High is with me.
It's a white horse too.
It's a horse. Read on.
It says, a horse is a vain thing for safety.
Oh, come on, bro. Read on.
Neither shall he deliver any by his great strength.
Man, read on.
Behold, the eye of the Most High is upon them that fear him.
Not the horse rider.
Yeah. The charioteer.
Not the charioteer. That there's security here because I'm on the chariot. Or I just got the strength. I got the strength. I can do this. I feel the physical, tangible strength. I can do this. That's not going to sit here. The Most High is going to defend those that fear him.
Yep.
He's defending that.
That's whose side the Most High is on. Not those who put their strength in tangible earthly things, but put their faith in things that's unseen. Read on.
Upon them that hope for his mercy.
The Most High is defending those that hope for his mercy. I'm praying that the Most High intercedes for me. I'm praying that the Most High delivers me. I'm praying that the Most High is on my side. I'm praying that the Most High comes through in the midst of this battle. I'm not looking at how many numbers I got and who's going, because I got more numbers than you, I got the victory. No, it's not that way. The Most High doesn't set it up that way. My money's stronger than yours, so the Most High is with me. No, that doesn't mean that. My horse, I got horses, you don't got horses. The Most High is with me. No, it doesn't work that way. I've accumulated wealth, so that's a sign that the Most High is with me. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work in all the ways that we see life. It doesn't work there. That's why the Most High said, "My thoughts are higher than your thoughts. My ways are higher than your ways." We don't understand how to get the Most High on our side. Neither do kings. Neither do some leaders, and that's why he's bringing this out. This is why Abijah is bringing it out to Jeroboam in this way. You look at things the wrong way. You have no concept of the Most High. There's many men that don't have, and women that don't have no concept of the Most High. The Most High is not embedded in their conscience as a real thing. As if the Most High is somebody that I can depend on. You know how you know? Because you watch how men scramble when things get tough. You watch how men scramble and lose their damn mind when they're in that consternation of mind. What does that word mean, consternation? They're in that consternation of mind.
Another big one.
What is that? Yeah, no.
So what's this combined?
Give $50 to spell it.
Consternation.
Go ahead.
It says astonishment, amazement,
Yeah,
or horror that confounds the faculties.
Yeah, astonishment, amazement, or horror that confounds the faculties. Many men get in that distraught, unbelievable state of mind that this is happening to me. I can't believe this is happening to me. This is horrible. But because you know what? I don't really believe that the Most High is a real power that can step in and help me at any point in time. Because my faith is on what I see. What you got?
And incapacitates a person for consultation and execution.
Man, I can't even explain what I'm going through.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Discombobulated, confused, or disconnected.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you, but I touch a pride bone. I can smell it. I know what's that.
It is a word.
This is real, bro. It's in the dictionary. I didn't make it up. I promise.
There ain't no Al Sharpton.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. So it said what?
It says
we got the understanding.
Yeah.
Finish that in Psalms.
Psalms chapter 32, now verse 19. It says, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine.
See, this is where I fear the Lord, and I believe that the Most High can deliver me from death, and the Most High can keep me out of poverty. My faith is all based upon the Most High being present with us. That's where my faith lies, not in the tangible things. Next verse, the water.
God. 1 Samuel chapter 14 and verse 6 reads, and Jonathan said to the young man that bare his armor, come, and let us go over unto the garrison of these uncircumcised.
He said, man, let's go fight these uncircumcised Philistines. Read on.
It may be that the Lord will work for us.
He said, it's possible. Let's go fight because it's possible that the Most High will work for me. These are men that in the midst of a battle, in a situation, in a conflict, they're able to see the Most High come through or possibly be present. Their hope is in the Most High. It said it may be that the Most High will fight for us. Read on.
God, for there is no restraint to the Lord to save.
It said there is no restraint to the Lord to do what?
To save.
Who can stop the Most High from intervening when the Most High decides to intervene?
Nobody.
Nobody can stop the Most High from coming into play. Mm-hmm. There's no restraint for the Most High to save what?
By many or by few.
The Most High could use a whole number, a host of men, or the Most High could use a handful of men. It doesn't matter to the Most High because Jeremiah says what?
Jeremiah chapter 32 verse 27. Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me?
What did the Most High say?
Is there anything too hard for me?
The Most High said what?
Is there anything too hard for me?
The Most High said, is there anything beyond my capability? So there's nothing beyond the Most High's capability. There's no restraint in the Most High coming through to help you if you depend on Him. The question is, do we really believe this? You'll know when you get into a perplexed, discombobulated, like Abba say, discombobulated, disconnected position, or you go into a consternation of mind, or horror. When horror comes upon you and fear comes upon you, it will declare, do you really believe in the Most High? Or do you believe in your own strength, your own power, or your own resources? All these are lessons that we read within these kings and them getting ready to go to war with each other. Who did they lay their faith on? Last one, 1 Maccabees 3:18. Read that.
1 Maccabees 3, verse 18. Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few.
It's nothing for the Most High to come through and destroy a multitude by a handful of men.
Because the handful of men have the fear of the Lord.
That's all it takes. Yes, sir.
Can I get one scripture?
What you got?
It's Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 30 and 31. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them, and the Lord had shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges.
He said, how can one chase 1,000? You know, it had not been for the Lord. That's impossible. But when the Most High is on your side, your enemies they could have all the numbers they want. They could have a 1 million man army. They could have a 2 million man army. It's irrelevant. Read on. Finish that.
God, 1 Maccabees 3:18. Unto whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hands of a few.
Go ahead.
And with the power and with the Most High of heaven, it is all one.
It's all the same. 50,000 against 10 is like 5 on 5. 100,000 versus 100 is like 10 on 10. It's all the same. Odds don't exist when it comes to the Most High. They don't exist. Odds, numbers are irrelevant when it comes to the Father. Yes, sir.
Proverbs 11:21.
Read it.
Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
So you can have all the military might, power, numbers, equipment, technology, sorcery, chemicals, biological,
drones.
You got all this to your disposal. That don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing with the Most High. What can a drone do in a hurricane? Nothing. Yeah.
If it's the Most High's disposition, you're losing.
You're gonna lose
matter what
anyway.
you got.
It don't matter what you got. You know. Finish that.
To deliver with a great multitude or a small company.
It's nothing with the Most High. All right, finish that. Let's go back in Josephus. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. It's already 1:30. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's finish that, Ahmad, in
Con Josephus, book 8, chapter 11, line 280, page 233. Yet certainly there is no strength at all in an army of many 10,000s.
Go ahead.
When the war is unjust.
He said when he's trying to tell Jeroboam, listen, man, you could easily forgive my father for his mistakes. He was a young king. He didn't know no better. He had flaws. We could avoid this battle. And plus, on top of that, it's not like you're super religious anyway. Because you got them damn calves up like they're going to help you.
You're not on a level.
You're not on a level anyway. So how about we both just lean on the Most High and bring about peace through forgiveness? Read on.
For we ought to place our surest hopes, for we ought to place our surest hope of success against our enemies in righteousness alone.
Now this is Abijah. Keep in mind, he went down in history as a wicked king. But there were points that he made sense. There were times that he made sense. Read on.
And in piety towards the Most High, which hope we justly have, since we have kept the laws from the beginning, and have worshipped our own power.
He said we did what?
And have worshipped our own power.
Go ahead.
Who was not made by hands out of corruptible matter.
Yep.
Nor was he formed by a wicked king.
Go ahead.
In order to receive this, in order to deceive the multitude, but who is his own workmanship.
He said, man, this is powerful for Abijah to understand that the Most High, he said the Most High is made of his own workmanship.
It's crazy, bro. He's the only one that's really self-made.
Right.
So if Israel wants to do, I did this, I put myself in a position, I made the decisions, I made the
Self-made
moves.
millionaire.
I'm self-made, I did it on my own, no help that's on me.
Yeah.
The Most High's the only one that can say that. Huh?
You know why? Because Revelation 1 verse 8 says what?
Revelation chapter 1, verse 8.
And on that same point, somebody read Revelation 22 and 13. Read that. Read 1 verse 8. Read that.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 8. I am the Alpha.
He said what?
I am the Alpha.
And what does the Alpha mean? What does that represent?
Beginning.
That means the beginning. That's the first letter of the Greek alphabet. That's the beginning. It represents the beginning. He said, man, I am the beginning. Nobody can say that. Nobody can say they begat themselves. That title don't belong to anybody. That damn sure that title don't belong to no man. If you're a man, you shouldn't dare open your mouth and say, look what I created. Everything you have created was already created, and you just borrowed from it. You're a loaner, not a creator.
That's true.
You loan what the Most High has created to your benefit. Read on.
And Omega.
Let that go and finish that in Revelation 22.
Revelation chapter 22, verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega.
Go ahead.
The beginning and the end.
The Most High said, I'm the beginning and the end. Read on.
The first and the last.
He said, I'm the first and the what?
And the last.
He said, man, that's who has the power to say, I created myself. I made myself. I'm not made by no hands. The Most High say he don't dwell in temples made by hands. Read on.
Verse 14.
Let that go. Finish that so we can finish the class.
God. Line 280, yet certainly there is no strength at all in an army of many 10,000s when the war is just. For we ought to place our surest hope of success against our enemies in righteousness alone, and in piety toward the Most High, which hope we justly have, since we have kept the laws from the beginning, and have worshipped our own power.
Go ahead.
Who was not made by hands out of corruptible matter,
Read on.
nor was he formed by a wicked king in order to deceive the multitude.
Go ahead.
But who is his own workmanship.
He said the Most High is his own what?
His own workmanship.
He said he's his own workmanship. The Most High is the creator of heaven and earth. There's nothing else that can say that. There's no other power but the Most High. He stands alone. Read on.
And the beginning and end of all things.
He said he's the beginning and he's the end of all things. Why not have your faith in him who has that ability when your ability is limited? How can flesh and blood have pride?
Yeah, pride is that way.
How are you with your
good without the bad, right?
your 60, 70, if you're lucky, 60, 70, 80 year lifespan can have an opinion and depend on yourself. The lessons that we are learning from these kings is that, for one, their errors pass down to the next generation. And if that's the case, it's the next generation's responsibility not to duplicate the errors of their foreparents. Because otherwise, I'm going to go down in history as a wicked leader, as an unjust man, when I had the opportunity not to be. If I was willing to put more of my faith in the Most High versus my own power, or versus my ability, or versus my own strength, or my own intelligence. There's a lot of lessons that we can learn from this situation. But we're going to go ahead and end it with that. It's already 1:30. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, for watching. We'll come in and we'll pick up on possibly. I wanted to go with the Asa, but if we started, we'll probably be here for another 2 hours. We'll pick up on First Kings chapter 16. We'll pick up on 1 Kings chapter 16 next Shabbat, or whoever war wants to take it after that. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and say Shalom. Amajim will pun wakadam. Rise and face Jerusalem. Yahweh Shemel Shai. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai. Please listen to us. Right now. Send Michael. And the righteous angel. To watch over. Bless. Heal. Protect. And make strong. The people of Yahshua. Also. Send unto us. Much wisdom. Much knowledge. Much understanding. Much patience. Much faith. Much brotherhood. And much love. Spiritual power. And forgive. All of our sins. And forgive. All of our sins. And forgive. All of our sins. Yahweh Shai, come quickly. For in thee is our hope. Always. And forever. Amen. Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the law.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the light to see.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the ram's horn to call the people.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Lakwa, Shaman, Zayaf, Lamashak, Yasha'Allah.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Psalms 92. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Shmalanawa. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord. And to sing praises unto thy name. O Yahweh. To show forth thy loving kindness. In the morning. In thy faithfulness. Every night. Upon an instrument. Of 10 strings. Upon the psaltery. Upon the harp. With the solemn sound. Thou, Yahweh, has made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth the fool understand it. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou art Yahweh, are most high forevermore. Below thine enemies, O Yahweh, below thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But mine horn shalt thou exalt, like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on mine enemies. Mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh shall flourish in the courts of our power. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to show that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Ba'Shem Yahushai. Psalms 433. Shayar, Hama'aywa, Ladawad, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Na'ayam, Shabbat, Akim, Kam, Yachad, Hashaman, Hatawab, Ayel, Hara'ash, Yerad, Ayel, Hazakwan, Zakwan, Aharan, Shayarad, Ayel, Payah, Barawathiyah, Katol, Roman, Shayarad, Ayel, Hararia, Kazawan, Kaya, Sham, Hazawah, Ahawa, Ath, Habaraka, Kayayim, Aid, Hawalam. English? Psalms 133 in English?
God, in English. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Amen.
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Rakanawa, Yashala, Habiyah, Saparium, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Rakanawa, Yashala, Habiyah, Saparium, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Rakanawa, Yashala, Habiyah, Saparium. Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Rakanawa, Yashala, Habiyah, Saparium. Turn. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. The water Yahweh. The water Yahushua. The water Yahweh. The water Yahushua. The water Yahweh. The water Yahushua. All love. All mercy. All truth. All piety. All justice. All wisdom. All knowledge. All understanding. All power. All praise. All might. All power. From Yahweh. It's from Yahweh. It's from Yahweh. In Yahushua's name we pray. The water. Yah. Amen. Men circle up. Sisters have a seat.
Saluting out in the heavenly order. Yahweh, Wayel Shai, Wokel Sha'ala, Men of Israel, Muslim, Ruh. Yahweh, Shalom, Shalom, Kumin Shalom, Kumin Shalom, Kumin Shalom. Turn and face the sisters. Sisters, please stand. Saluting out the daughters of Zion, Men of Israel, Muslim, Ruh.
Yajamachah, dismissed. Fall out. Shalom Israel. Shalom.